Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Zombie Apocalypse edition of the Jim Cornette Experience, where here as the world burns, we're going to talk about Smackdown, AEW, and the plague that God Almighty has sent to finally get rid of Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, it is a really fucking miserable edition of the Jim Cornette Experience because the whole world has gone insane. And to join me here, the eminent professor who graduated magna cum vaccination from the Vienna School of Infectious Diseases and Skin Rashes, it's Dr. Mantis Toboggan. No Brian last, everybody.
Aloha, Jim. A pleasure to be here for this end-of-the-world edition of the Jim Cornette Experience. As society crumbles all around us.
You son of a bitch. Have you been hit by any falling stockbrokers today? So have you been down to the financial district?
I had to walk away from the TV. I had to change the channel. Usually I have in the background here either a news station or CNBC while I'm doing my work throughout the day so I can just look up and see what's going on, and that will not be happening for the time being. I can't deal with it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and besides just everybody, and once again, before we go any further, yes, it's a bad flu. But it's not. Have we heard confirmed evidence, testimony that any of these people that have died are coming back to life as zombies? Have we heard that there is 100% mortality rate and you're gonna your intestines are gonna turn to liquid? No, I think they said it's a 3% mortality rate. That means next year, 96% of us are still going to be here, and the stocks are probably going to be worth hopefully as much as they were last week. So quit fucking panicking. For fuck's sake. And if you don't want to hear politics here for a minute, you can fuck yourself. You're going to have to listen to it. You can't go outside because you're quarantined. But last night alone, as we record this, President Pigshit spoke to the nation to reassure us and give firm guidance and leadership on how this health crisis and financial crisis is going to be handled and what's going to be done about it by the federal government that protects and serves us. And the stock market dropped 8% over fucking night. And then actually in 10 minutes, there was 7% overnight because the circuit breakers kicked. And then it was 8% in the first 10 minutes, and they suspended again. And then, because nobody believes a word he fucking says. And also, it was another hostage statement video where he sits there. It's almost like in one of those old Mission Impossible episodes where they've drugged the fucking leader of the country and he's making this statement like this. He's reading the teleprompter, words that someone else has written, and he doesn't know how to pronounce all of them. So sometimes he makes a mystic. And then he fumfers, and then he realizes I just said something that doesn't make any sense, and you can see it on his face. and he's lied so much nobody believes him. He obviously doesn't know what he's saying when he's reading it. Nobody has any confidence that this idiot or the rest of the mushmouth fuckwits that he has put in positions to lead this country, nobody has any confidence that any of them know what the fuck they're doing. And our country is melting because of 150 fucking deaths from a fucking flu. Yeah, we shouldn't get this, especially if you're old and sickly and whatever. And yes, we should try not to spread it. But first, did you know, by the way, that Barack Obama, after Ebola, which turned out to not even be an issue here, set up a government agency to deal with pandemics and infectious diseases, things like that. I can't remember what the exact name of it was, but it was a government agency to deal with just such a thing. And wouldn't you know who won the pony? Guess who abolished it? Donald Trump. That's why we don't have one now. He just got finished doing that about a year and a half ago. And if it wasn't for the financial regulations and these circuit breakers that Obama and his administration put in place after the last financial crisis from the last fucking goofy Republican president that we had. Every time we get a Republican president, that's what we get is financial crises and fucking catastrophe. But the regulations that Obama's administration put in place helped us not fucking. What do you think? How far would it have gone if they didn't have circuit breakers now on the fucking S&P? Would it drop 15% overnight and everybody suddenly go, oh, fuck? And he's tried to do away with most of that shit, too, because the Republicans don't like that stuff because Obama was smarter than all of them. And so, don't get me wrong. I'm not wishing for Donald Trump to fail. I'm prophesizing he's going to fail at everything because he's a fucking moron. But if this is not a fucking sign from God, karma, Buddha, whoever's running this fucking popsicle stand, that we need to get this fucking idiot out of the White House. Nobody believes him. He's got a staff of idiots. He's a complete idiot that thinks he knows everything, so he won't listen to the experts. That's the most dangerous kind of idiot. He's only worried about himself, and now he's panicking about the stock market, which was why he was trying to originally lie to everybody and say, oh, it's not bad. If you feel it okay, you can go to work. Because that's all the stock market is his way of keeping score, because that way he looks good for his billionaire buddies. And that's all he thinks about to begin with. So he was trying to lie and prop that up until it was too late. If not this disaster, then which disaster do we need to fucking come up with? Especially if I'll talk about in a minute, if the Democrats don't fucking mind their P's and Q's, we might have another 4 years of this. Which disaster in another 4 years are we going to need to show people that with this guy in charge of things, we are fucked if anything really bad happens? We've been lucky for 3.4 years or whatever. And suddenly some shit happens, and this guy's a fucking moron, and his friends are fucking morons, and his staff are fucking morons, and there's nobody running this thing that actually knows what the fuck's going on.
You know, I will say, obviously the speech he gave from the Oval Office last night as we record was the most nervous we have seen him, and he clearly didn't know what he was reading. But I'm no Mike Pence fan at all. I got to give him credit because the press conferences that he's held have been exactly the kind of way a president should be talking about this thing. He's been calm. He's been trying to get the facts out there. He's been pushing to the people like the doctors who actually know what they're talking about when a question comes up that he doesn't know the actual answer for or that he thinks an expert should speak to. Again, I'm no Mike Pence fan, but that's the way the president should be behaving. Not making weird proclamations that everything's okay or that the Democrats are using this as a hoax or that he has a hunch for these medical things.
Or banning and then when he was doing the press conference the day before yesterday out in front of where they briefed him, he said, the doctors were amazed how much I knew about this stuff. It's just like I could have gone into medicine, but I did that. Yeah,
I have no doubt the doctors were amazed.
Yeah.
No doubt they were amazed, yeah.
But let me read Mike Pence's mind for you. This fucking evil sack of shit, because see, he's not an idiot. He's just as evil as the rest of. He's even worse because he's the religious fanatic that would have us all goddamn mandatory prayer every morning or whatever the fuck. Pray the gay away. The end of civilization as we know it if you don't follow the 10 Commandments type of fucking evil fuck. But he's not an idiot. This is what he's been waiting for. He just laid back and tried not to get any of this fucking lunatic shit on him, right, through this whole time. And now he sees this guy's melting down. He's going to have a nervous breakdown. He don't know what the fuck he's doing. If they replace him or he strokes out or whatever, then Pence would be the guy they'd go to because he can now show, because he's, of course, he's a good public speaker. And he, it wants to act presidential because this is his audition. It's his big moment. But he's still, he's as demented as the rest of them, even more so because of the religious quackery. But, but at least he's trying to be serious about the thing because this is his audition.
he did what you want a leader to do in this time. To be calm, get the facts out there, not to lie to a point that it causes people to panic. People from the everyday citizens to the stock market. The stock market was going to get hit because of this virus one way or another. But Trump's behavior has directly hurt the stock market and has caused people to panic, because if you can't believe him, you don't know what to believe. You know, we do, but other people who don't pay any attention to this stuff and are seeing the experts say one thing, that yes, this is going to be much, much larger. This is going to get a whole lot worse. And Trump's saying, well, you know, one day it'll just be gone.
Speaking of one day we'll all be gone, and that day could come sooner if... Why do I constantly see people go, well, if Bernie Sanders doesn't get the nomination, then we're just not going to vote. Or, you know, it's Bernie or bust. Or, no, we would never vote for Joe Biden because he farted in front of my Aunt Petunia, 30 years ago. Or whatever you fucking morons. And I'm talking to the Democratic morons now. What the fuck? Just vote for Biden. We need to get this idiot out of our lives. We need to get him, his family, all of his friends, all the fucking crooked people he's brought in. We need a normal, sane, level-headed guy that knows how the shit works. I understand how Bernie Sanders could be abrasive to people. And let's face it, when we should have Medicare for all. We have the worst health care in the world because we're the only country, as we all know, that doesn't actually get health care unless we pay through the nose for it. And it's fucking stupid. But if Bernie Sanders got elected president in November, he wouldn't live long enough to see us get Medicare for all. How it was pulling teeth for Obama to get Obamacare done. You know the Republicans would block him and fuck with him. Even worse, old Bernie. So it's not going to happen anyway. I was fine with Elizabeth Warren. She'd be a great woman president. I was fine with everybody. A little shady on Bloomberg. But Tom Steyer was a billionaire that actually was a normal, decent person. Nobody even paid any attention to him. Mayor Pete. Whoever the fuck. But if it's going to be Biden, because people who don't pay a lot of attention to this know who he is, and remember that, holy shit, they did a great job. Obama and Biden. We could have more of that instead of this fucking moron. He doesn't scare the people who are not smart enough yet to be very progressive. But also at this point, we don't need improvements. We need repairs. Joe Biden was just there 8 years ago, right? Or however, Jesus Christ, how long has it been? 4 years ago. He can go in there and start the process of undoing all of Trump's fuck-ups, the ones that are possible to fix, because he's going to know what to look for. You can't fix the judges. They're there for however fucking long they live. So our courts are fucked already and continue to get more fucked, but get the shit as close as possible back to what they had when they fixed everything from our last Republican fuck-up president. Get everything back there and then start to continue and to build on it, that's going to take years. The damage Trump has done on all these regulations, rolling back everything, the environment, business, banking, whatever the fuck he's done, anything he has done has to be undone. That's going to take years there. So let's just learn a lesson. Vote for the guy that can go in and fix the shit again, and realize that every Republican president is going to give us a financial crisis and a bunch of bullshit that it takes us years to fix, which is why we never get anywhere. Fuck, it's not... Have I been calling for this for the past 10 years? Give us another Republican, see what's going to fucking happen.
Well, Jim, obviously there's a lot of things happening throughout the world. This is affecting everyone, and it's about to really affect this country more and more. Since the time we've begun recording, the National Hockey League has suspended operations. Major League Baseball, it appears, is about to announce a suspension of spring training and a delayed opening of the season, which was due to open the end of March, early April. And there appear to be wrestling events that are starting to be canceled.
This is breaking news. That's why Brian is flummoxed.
Yeah, as we're talking here, I just got a text message that my children's gymnastics sectionals has been canceled.
Oh, no.
And
well, now they've gone too far.
Apparently, the scuttlebutt amongst the PTA or whatever they call it here.
Wait a minute. Your PTA has scuttlebutt?
They have a lot of scuttlebutt.
What kind of fucking generics? Do they have key parties?
They have the scuttlebutt before anyone else does, and the scuttlebutt is the school district's about to be shut down for 2 weeks. So my question for you is, obviously WrestleMania is coming up. Obviously there are a lot of big things coming up, from various conventions to events big and small. How do you think this is going to affect wrestling?
So you are basically saying that you are foreseeing that large groups of people, arenas of sports fans, ticket purchasing patrons, all these events are going to be canceled. It's going to bring an end to the wrestling business. I can see that. And as a matter of fact, only one promotion will be unfazed if they ban large gatherings, bunches of people, large numbers of ticket purchasing patrons in major arenas. Impact Wrestling will still be okay, folks. Thank goodness for that. We're going to have one thing to watch. No, I can't even comprehend as a promoter. Remember, I was nearly suicidal. I tried to eat myself into a stupor when we had to postpone, when we could not run Christmas Chaos in Ohio Valley Wrestling. That time we had December of 2000, we had the ice storm and the talent, all the WWF guys, Steve Austin on down, couldn't get here. We had to sell out Louisville Gardens. And I called the radio stations. I've told the story. After I'd been on the phone with Jim Ross and got the scoop, there was no way they could get out of Arkansas. And I went down to the convenience store down the street from my house, and I got a giant bucket of fried chicken. And I went home and sat in bed and just ate I was hoping I was going to just eat the chicken until I died. And that was a $75,000 house and 5,000 people and a significant sponsorship and et cetera. But I can't imagine the thought of having to postpone / cancel / monkey with an event that's going to gross in the tens of millions of dollars. I'm gobsmacked.
Well, here's another piece of news that just came in. The state of California has imposed new measures to contain to contain the coronavirus, telling people to postpone or cancel gatherings of more than 250 people. The guidelines also advise against gatherings in small venues that don't allow for 6 feet of distance between people.
Oh, so old Dick Boy's dive bar wrestling will be okay too. So they got that going for them out there. You could probably shoot deer in the balcony at his shows. But besides the tens of millions of dollars of WrestleMania, et cetera, not only from a business standpoint, because I look at everything first like, oh my God, if it was my show, because I've run so many of them. But the tens of millions of dollars, but also not only but President Goofball's travel ban from Europe, except the UK, where they have more cases than in any other country in Europe, but they're all right because I guess they're white people with English sounding names. But for all the people that come from however many dozen countries that have already bought their tickets, already got their plane tickets, already got their travel arrangements, they have made tons of arrangements and they're going to suffer some kind of financial loss if they can't make the trip. And they're sure going to be bummed that they can't make the trip. If they went to that much trouble, they want to go to this fucking thing. So they're going to be fucked. And then the smaller wrestling promotions, honestly, it'll be harder on them. Some of them I like and some of them I don't like. Jelly Nutella's running a fucking fiasco again this year. I hope he goes fucking broke. But for some of these promotions, losing 25 grand or 50 grand is a bigger blow than the WWE losing $15 million in terms of overall revenue and how they, because they sometimes go from the independents from one show to the next, or they depend on the big show or whatever. And so some of them, it's going to be hard, which is why I think all the independent shows are going to run unless government officials of some description that have jurisdiction over that step in and say, no, you cannot do this. The independent shows are going to run because they can't afford to just say, fuck it. At this point, they're like, you know, maybe people won't ask for refunds if they can't come because they'll feel bad for us. And maybe people are going to come anyway, and we need the goddamn revenue. So we'll risk it because it would put us out of business. That's in some of the smaller promotions. Vince McMahon will run WrestleMania if the zombies are climbing the fucking gates outside the stadium and the fucking parking lot is on fire, unless somebody tells him he can't. I'm just telling you that right now.
Well, I think that's what's going to happen. I think Tampa is going to tell him, you can't do this.
Well, and I think he's going to have a fucking bone to pick with Mayor Tampa, too, whoever that might be. I've seen him fucking go up and knock on the door to talk to the pilots about whether they were going to reroute a fucking plane or not. I think over this, I think he'll probably try to do something. Vince doesn't recognize weakness of any kind, and he will scoff at the idea, even though he's in the target demographic, 70-something years old. He doesn't have a weakened immune system, at least that we know of, but he refuses to recognize weakness. So he would say, we can power through this. It's hysteria.
That's another one of my questions is obviously you're talking about live events and this takes that into account as well, but he's not going to have a choice because it's going to be local governments shutting down any mass gatherings or anything like a wrestling event. So for AEW and WWE specifically, although this affects obviously so many others. I mean, New Japan is just...
Oh, man, and AEW in 2 weeks has the show in Newark, and they're going to sell out the building, right?
There's no way they're going to have that show, and New Japan has just shut down so many shows. But the question is, with AEW and WWE, and probably more so with the WWE, what do you do with all those TV hours that are filled up each week by live television shows? What do you do now with 2 hours for SmackDown, 3 hours for Raw, 2 hours for NXT, 2 hours for AEW, not even counting their YouTube show? What do you do with all those hours of television that are usually filled up with live wrestling?
Well, that's a hard decision. You can get creative for a couple weeks and do the empty arenas or do the select audience or do something where the fucking guys have to sit with the baby faces sit in section C and the heels sit in section D or whatever across that and have to watch the matches or whatever. You can get creative for a week or two. But as this goes on, it would get old real quick, or you would run out of ideas that didn't make the whole thing goddamn preposterous. They have buildings rented. They have satellite time booked for their television broadcasts. They have crews booked. And even if they prevent public gatherings, unless they declare martial law, can they prevent a private television production from taking place? I don't think so. Even if there is a group of 100 or 200 people that have to come into this arena and do it. So I can see them, in some cases, broadcasting from these arenas. WWE has all kinds of flexibility because they own so much equipment, have so much equipment. They have relationships with, whether it be Full Sail, they've got, they can pretty much do studio wrestling for their shows if they want to.
And you bring up Full Sail. I mean, one university after another has been shutting down, telling students to stay home and go on the computer and take online courses.
But we're not telling the students they need to come. But for the facility, you've got a small facility that you could have television studio matches in if they only had 50 people there. Or if they didn't have anybody there, it's not like they had to rent the goddamn Madison Square Garden to do an empty arena show, right? WWE has flexibility in it with all the shit they own, all the shit they have, and the relationship they have like that. They could shoot something and air something from a variety of different places, whereas AEW right now is tied down to what buildings they have rented upcoming that would still honor their date if they wanted to shoot something, even if they weren't letting people in the building.
And what about the talent? I mean, if you're a wrestler, let's say for WWE, and WWE says, okay, we're going to do a show, empty arena, no fans will be there. If you feel uncomfortable traveling during this, should you be able to stay home? Will Vince McMahon understand a wrestler who says,
are you out of your fucking mind? He doesn't understand them when they say they don't want to go to Saudi Arabia because they cut people's fucking heads off. And I've got to go. Here's the thing. I got to go along with this. Fuck you if you, and Tony Khan, did he not actually say this? Did he not have a meeting? We'll jump ahead to the AEW review for a second. Did he not have a talent meeting? So if you don't feel comfortable coming, you don't have to come.
That is what we have heard. Yeah.
Well, that's God. I wish Bill Watts had been in the fucking room. If you're running the show, you need to go. If enough people said, hey, we don't want to fucking go, I guess he wouldn't run the show. But one way or another, and also that's kind of a bullshit thing to say in a meeting anyway, because then only the pussies are going to puss out. And then they're going to be branded as pussies. Oh, guys, so we're going to go, but you're not going to go. You're more important than we are, or whatever the fuck. It's got to be either all or nothing. And if they're going to run if the wrestlers are not sitting out in the stands with the fans, so if it's a show that's running and the fans are okay to come in, then goddamn the wrestlers better be there. And if it's a show where they're only going to do an empty arena thing, then sure, you might not want your goddamn main event guys to be flying through a fucking coronavirus-ridden airport, in which case both these people we're talking about, Tony Khan and Vince McMahon, are billionaires, and Vince has a plane. Fly around and pick them up. Don't put them on fucking Southwest.
You're still going to encounter people, though. I mean, even when you go to the venue, there are people that work at these venues. If one of them has the coronavirus...
Hey, I'm going to be in Circleville, Ohio Saturday because I've made a commitment. Because my friend has cancer, and I'm going up to visit him. And by God, the virus ain't got to Circleville yet. There's nothing in West Virginia. Steve New has set a barrier up around the state of West Virginia where there's no coronavirus there, and there's only like 5 cases in Ohio, and it's way up the road in Columbus. So I'm going to be slipping into Circleville and slip out before anything happens. I think they're going to bring the coronavirus to Circleville along on the same flatbed truck they bring the sunshine in. They're so far out in the woods. But anyway, if the fucking thing's running, the show must go on. And if you get we can't just all, for me personally, this is a dream come true. If I didn't have a couple of commitments coming up this month, and in April, I'd have been fine. They say, Cornette, it's federal law. You can't leave your house. Whoopee. I'm fucking right there. But if there's something you need to goddamn do, you need to goddamn do it.
But in this case, where the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Baseball have all now suspended operations, we don't know when they're going to resume either. Do you feel the pressure if you're Vince McMahon or Tony Khan that you have to do that? Because if you run an event, let's just say you even allow fans in, if you can get a local government that still allows you to do that. But even if you don't, one of these wrestlers gets sick. And then another wrestler gets sick.
One of these wrestlers is going to get sick anyway, because just by odds and chances, a plumber's going to get it, a wrestler's going to get it, an accountant's going to get it. But who's to say where they fucking got it from? So you can't really blame. You don't know where you're picking up a virus from, as long as you exist in the world. I'll tell you, the first thing they ought to do is start checking these hotels, the air conditioning units. They never clean these filters. They're disgusting. That's the first thing I look at when I check into a hotel room.
If you have any staff that's over the age of 60 years old, do you tell them they can stay home?
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. So... and a couple of fucking pro wrestlers actually might skirt right under that fucking cutoff line from shows I've watched the past week. But yeah, I can understand. Like I said, Vince would say, the NBA, they're a bunch of pussies. And Tony Khan doesn't want to disrupt his new promotion when they are picking up some steam and the shows actually are getting a little bit better, and they've weeded out a little of their goofy talent. They brought a little bit more in, but nevertheless. So I can understand that, but I don't, it'll be interesting. I think the show will go on unless the government stops it. By cracky. That's what I think.
What do you think they do then? Postpone until the summer?
Oh, they're going to do it at some time or another. And that's the thing. Ultimately, everybody that's panicking and fearing for your life, like I said, almost 97% of us are going to make it through this. So they're eventually going to do all these shows, the ones that, except maybe some of these independents might not be able to afford it, but they're going to do all these shows eventually, and eventually everything is going to be fucking a box of fluffy ducks again. What do you got now? An update?
An update on the topic of AEW in Newark. I think this is going to affect that because usually what one state does, the next state follows up here. New York Governor Cuomo has announced the closing of large public gatherings of 500 and more in New York City because of the coronavirus. So that means anything at Madison Square Garden. That means anything at the Barclays Center. That means anything at the Manhattan Center. 500 and more. So if they're doing that, New Jersey's going to do it next.
New Jersey is a band of renegades.
Well, that may be true.
They're probably being bribed as we speak by Tony Khan right now. But anyway, there you have it. But yes, this Saturday I will be in Circleville for Bobby Fulton's World Classic Professional Big Time Wrestling Reunion and Round Town Fan Fest and event. I will be doing the virus fist bump. And we'll be taking pictures with the Midnight Express and anybody who shows up. I'm sure they all will.
You shouldn't do the fist bump. You should do an elbow smash. Or actually, believe it or not, they're saying jazz hands. Maybe the best way to greet
I refuse to do jazz hands, except as a mockery.
You got to do it.
Jazz hands. And also, Bulletin. This is going to be the worst goddamn edit we've ever done on a program. But we were talking a few minutes ago about stuff that is no longer applicable, Brian. We are dropping in this segment because we just recorded this program that you're hearing, and we were about to do my live event plugs for live events that are no longer live or events. So we're covering it up with this. And later on in the program, if we joke about where I'm going in the next few weeks, that's all been changed. The Bobby Fulton reunion and the Round Town Fan Fest and wrestling event for Saturday, March 13th has now been postponed to April the 18th because of the Ohio governor, I guess, says more than 4 people can't get together. And I think they're outlawing sex next week, too. But it's not being canceled, but it is being postponed. We've already we've got the word out to all the cult members on Twitter and poor jacked up Jeremy Bagley and John Fell and Neil Shockett and all those guys. But we're going on April 18th. Everybody can keep their tickets. Me and the Midnight Express have already committed that we're going to be there again. Bobby's rounding up, trying to get the same lineup and et cetera. But that'll be April 18th because either we'll all be dead or this will be over by then. But April 18th in Circleville, Ohio, not this weekend. And another bulletin I just got, LexCon is now going to be in the middle of May, not the end of March. So we got that going for us too, folks. We've got even more time for everybody to get well and time to go to LexCon because that was starting to worry me a little bit. 40,000 people in a giant arena and convention center all on top of each other in 2 weeks was probably not something I was really going to be looking forward to as much as normal. But anyway, that's going to be moved to the middle of May. So support Bobby Fulton, hold your tickets. If you weren't going to be able to come or you were chickening out this weekend, now you can come on April 18th. Bobby's really been looking forward to this. Having this event's the biggest one he's ever done. It's helped him keep a positive outlook through his cancer treatments recently. So we want to go and support him on April 18th. And LexCon we'll be talking about over the next couple months. And now, Brian, I don't know. I know we referred to a bunch of this shit later on in the program, but we're not going to edit all that out because it's too much fucking trouble. But we have dropped this in over where we were talking about being in Ohio and Lexington imminently. This is the new schedule, updated. Right?
Right. I didn't know if you were actually pitching back to me. Yes.
It's a give and take. We got to have a little of this and a little of that.
The new schedule updated. Everything has been canceled or postponed with the exception of the events under the auspices of that stubborn Vince McMahon.
With the exception, he will not come off of WrestleMania. I told you, and if I haven't already told you, as Nick Goulas said one time, Nick Goulas did his own local interviews in the television show, but he couldn't be bothered to get a copy of the format and read where they were going to go. So when he was doing an interview, he just said, folks, if you haven't already seen, you will see exactly what happened on the program. And so if you haven't already heard, folks, you will hear more shit that we're going to be talking about. But Vince will not fucking He ain't going to do it. Until they make him, until they drag him kicking and screaming. Sickness is a weakness. He will not do it. And all these other poor schlubs are waiting on to see what they're going to do, because there's no need for fucking bootleg wrestling volume 3 to fucking take place at a nightclub in, somewhere in the downtown fucking Tampa if they're not having WrestleMania. So they got to be like, what the fuck's he going to do? Anyway, Do we have anything else to report before we go back to the rest of the program that we recorded 2 hours ago that's already sorely out of date?
Disneyland has been closed.
The happiest place on earth?
This is only like the third time it's ever been closed. I think it was 9/11, the Kennedy assassination, and there's one other time I can't remember.
I'm not real happy either about all this going on. So anyway... so there you go. We'll be back next week because, once again, we don't have to leave our house to do this. But until then, that's the update, folks. Back to our regularly scheduled program. In the meantime, what you could do, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Cult of Cornette, listeners in the audience, don't risk your life in public. Don't go out amongst people that are infected with a serious disease. Stay at home and shop online at JimCornette.com, because Daddy needs a new pair of shoes after the last week. But this is affecting us now because the action figures, I've mentioned this limited number, there's around 250, 275 left. I got to go get an exact count of the original version of the Jim Cornette action figure from Figures Toy Company. That was before all this happened. These are the only ones I was going to be able to get this year. So I don't know now because they obviously come from China. I sprayed them down. They're clean now. But these may be bigger collector's items than we thought, but the action figures are still available for the time being. The graphic novel Behind the Curtain, the Cult of Cornette gift certificates, T-shirts will be replenished within days. You can order with impunity, because the T-shirt fiasco has been resolved. They don't have to come from China. They're coming from Lawrenceburg. But you can get all this stuff delivered to your door where you don't have to go out in public and risk your health and safety. You don't even have to touch the mailman. And if your mailman looks like mine, that's probably a good thing. So JimCornette.com. And I'm going to be staying home a lot, so we're going to be whipping these orders right back out at you as soon as I get home this weekend, and hopefully virus-free.
I haven't even thought about that. What if they close the post office?
They can't close the post. The post office has never been closed through snow and sleet and driving rain, or through rain and sleet and dark of night, or through all kinds of bullshit conditions. The post office keeps going.
They don't say anything about plague. They don't say the post office stays open even if there are locusts. They don't say that.
No, we have locusts here every 7 years, and they still don't close. And as far as the plague, well, I'll just wear gloves when I go interact with Bree, and they're dedicated people. Don't knock my business here. Also, if they close,
that's what you need to do.
I'll be out there driving around delivering everything personally.
Cornette coronavirus gloves, black gloves with the Cornette face on it.
That's not a bad idea. Sort of like AJ Styles has his gloves, but mine would have the Cornette face on the palm.
That's right.
Wait a minute. I don't want my face on the fucking palm of a bunch of guys' hands. No, I thought it was a good idea there. All right. There was something that a bunch of people sent to me on Twitter and by email. I got like at least 24 emails just in like a 3 or 4 day period. I don't know how everybody discovered this at the same time. And then they started tweeting me about it. And, oh, you got to see this. And everything was like, if you didn't already hate Kenny Olivier, if this pretentious twat, this fucking idiot, you got to see what he says. You got to hear what he says. And I dislike hearing him speak because there's so little conviction in it. He's just so wishy-washy and mealy-mouthed. But with this many people in a short period of time bringing this to my attention, the curiosity got the better of me. Brian, you have not watched this. I asked you about this. You haven't watched it, but you've heard about it. But apparently, somebody with a wrestling school of some description somewhere brought Kenny Omega, the world's greatest wrestler, in for a training seminar for their class of wannabe aspiring, hopeful wrestling school students, right? Now I know what they were all talking about. This idiot, he's talking to these people who are in wrestling school, and he probably doesn't know as much about the wrestling business or have as much respect for it as they do. And they haven't even done it yet in front of people. Within the first 3 minutes, I wrote down some quotes. I wanted to make sure I didn't misquote Harpo Marx. He says, I have never been formally trained. I never had a real trainer, but I studied thousands of tapes. He then goes on to say, in a way, basic wrestling training really doesn't mean anything. Before following up with saying, I'm not really a fan of wrestling anymore. But he mentions that when he went to, because he was signed to WWE Developmental 10, 12 years ago, he says, yeah, when I went to developmental, I think he said, Dave Taylor showed me some things. I wish Dave Taylor had showed him what he really needed to fucking see. But so basically his failed developmental stint where they kicked him out, I don't know whether it's because he couldn't fucking get it or he was just such a douche. But he didn't last long down there. That's the only time he's ever actually been trained. And now he's sitting there at a seminar telling wrestling school students that wrestling training doesn't really mean anything. And he actually told them if he has a match that he can show to his parents or his friends and they laugh or were entertained, he says it was a good match. The people who don't like wrestling is who he's wrestling for. We should have been able to figure this out. He actually said the people who don't follow wrestling, if I can show it to them and they like it, it's a good match. That's like, because I know not dick all of jack shit about fucking baseball, which you were just inundating me with facts before we went on the air. But I can watch a baseball game and tell what a good baseball game is when every baseball game looks like it sucks to me. He's a fucking moron. He was, and I saw some of the people commented on the video saying, oh, I love his chill voice. And he's just so respectful and he sounds so nice and cool to hang out with. He's not yelling like you see the other trainers. That's because he wasn't teaching anybody anything either. He was there talking to them, lisp-lipped, like a fucking cross between a dance instructor and Mr. fucking Rogers in his neighborhood. Before he got him in the ring, he actually asked the group, he said, so how are you guys? Are you guys good on bumping? Everybody good on know how to bump? What the fuck? Then one of his warm-up drills looked like a goddamn square dance routine where they went through a chain of arm reversals, but the guys were starting to like crank it and make a face like you should. And he said, no, just smooth. Don't make the face. Don't make noise on the mat. It's so noisy. It should look elegant and graceful because you're just warming up here just to kind of get your feet under you. Little happy clouds. He sounded like the Bob Ross of fucking pro wrestling training. For those artists in the crowd who know who Bob Ross was. He's got a new name, Twinkle Toes Olivier. He looked like a ballet dancer showing these fucking guys how to fucking reverse the arm. And then I watched the first 5 minutes as everybody told me to, and then I skipped ahead and saw him basically sitting there droning on and not showing these guys anything in the ring for the better part of 2 hours. And that was it. I think he had a quote about boring, stupid wrestling stuff that makes no difference is somewhere in there. But otherwise than that, so I read his mind is what I did because I knew from the first time I saw him, I said, if I knew that guy in person, I would despise him even worse. We would have nothing to talk about. We would be completely polar opposites of every issue, and I would hate him. And every time I read a quote or hear his voice or hear something he said or watch one of his matches, the prophecy comes true. What a fucking twat. And this is some demented people, the world's greatest wrestler. Wrestling training doesn't really matter because I just want to make my parents laugh.
The world's greatest wrestling artist.
Yeah. Just because you can cut your ear off doesn't make you Van Gogh, pal. All right. But you know what, Brian? We have something that can ease the pain, something that can salve our aching muscles from trying to carry the entire wrestling business on our shoulders. Do you know what that is?
Well, they're your shoulders, but I think I have an idea of what that is, yes.
Omax and the cryo freeze. We've been talking about this and raving about it, but I'm not going to do the normal commercial announcement because I got an email from one of the members of the cult, Cornette. And this says it better than I would be able to. Greetings, Mr. Cornette. My name is Artis from Atlanta, Georgia. I've always been a fan of yours, not only because you were a fantastic heel manager, the best ever in my opinion. See, I hate to read a lot of these emails because they suck up to me so bad. I'm afraid people will think I'm big-headed. He said, but also because you stick to what you believe in and won't settle for less. Recently, however, it's grown beyond that, the reason why he's a fan of mine. Due to the sponsors that you and Brian partner with on the shows, I know many people who listen to your shows and have benefited greatly from these sponsors. I can now add myself to that list. On Halloween last year, I had the great honor of welcoming my first child into the world. He's a healthy little guy to whom I gave my name. He's the greatest thing I could have ever asked for, and I know my life has forever changed for the better. Unfortunately, I tore my Achilles a couple of years ago and never quite had the chance to fully heal it or complete my rehab. This has left me in crippling pain most of the time, and I haven't been able to fully enjoy life since, as most of the time if I'm not working, I prefer to stay home and hurt as little as possible. Since my son arrived, I've been trying to feel better and be able to enjoy him and not be confined to watching him and his mom from the sidelines due to pain. That brings me to Omax Cryo Freeze. The roll-on has worked wonders, and I feel much better daily and have been able to play with my baby boy more than I would have otherwise. And even day-to-day tasks have been made easier as well. I feel like a new man, and that's thanks to you. Thank you so much for the promotion of the products and giving me my life back. Sincerely, Artis. And that right there is a pretty good daggum recommendation. And Brian, you've been loving it. I've been loving it. Stacy's mother that had the hip replacement and the knee replacement loves it. I don't know how they do it, as Lucy said in the Vitamita Vegemin commercial, but this stuff is fantastic. No, in all seriousness. And they are a sponsor. They're helping support the product, but these are the kind of this and Manscaped and a few of these other products that we really enjoy ourselves. I enjoy promoting these to the public. And Omax has a limited time offer. Listening to this program, you can get 20% off the roll-on, the cryo freeze, anything site-wide, and free shipping if you go to Omax. That's OMAX, omaxhealth.com. and enter the code JCE. 20% off everything on the site, including the incredible roll-on. And as a matter of fact, Artis, if you haven't already, try the sports cream, the rub-on, because it rubs me the right way. But anyway, get some of this stuff. It's got the CBD power in it, but no THC. I know some of you may go, oh, drat, but just in case you need to pass anything, you can do that too. But anyway, omaxhealth.com/JCE and save some money.
You know what the ring rats say to MJF?
What's that?
Omax.
Oh, for heaven's.
Oh, Max.
I don't know why. I should have seen that coming a mile away. Well, you were the one that asked last week when I said, you know, the difference between a circus and a sorority house. I said the circus is full of cunning stunts, and you didn't get it and said, what's the sorority house full of?
Oh, no, I got it. I just wanted to hear you say the other half of it.
Yeah, well. Hey, they can't ban me from my own house, right? I can't, so I can still podcast, even if they quarantine us, and no matter what I say, they can't ban me off the internet. That's, as a matter of fact, let's bring this up right now. The new Patreon that's taken people by storm here. Not only do you hear the Too Hot for TV videos, Too Hot for YouTube videos, of me continually cursing up a storm that people have compiled, and they're funny as fuck. But also you're hearing the first ever episodes of the drive-thru they're like Impact Wrestling TV episodes. They've only been seen by like a handful of people, like less than 200, because they were VIP episodes many years ago before the whole thing caught on. So you can start out with the first episodes there now, and we may have to go ahead and put some of my political fucking rants up, because we don't have a lot of politics on YouTube because they get touchy about that type of thing and tend to start looking at us more closely. But you can hear the unedited comments that I have made and have been making and see that my viewpoints are fairly consistent over the past number of years when you join the Patreon, and more new shows are going up soonly.
Every
right?
week, every Sunday, we're putting up more episodes of the Drive-Thru and the Experience, and the reaction has been overwhelming so far. We just had the original episodes that you had Jim Ross on early on in the Jim Cornette Experience. And in terms of politics, this is how far back it goes. I believe you went off on the Duck Dynasty guys on one of these episodes.
Oh, I remember that. Yes, because they're another bunch of fucking morons, swamp-dwelling, muck-walking fucking cretins. Anyway, so the Patreon, they just go to Patreon and just type in Jim Cornette and up it becomes, or how does that work?
Well, that is an option, but also the direct address, patreon.com/Cornette. There is one single tier available right now for $5 a month. You get access to the archives. There are a bunch of shows up right now. Another batch goes up each and every week. And coming in April, we'll have much more content on there. And with the world shutting down, we don't plan on shutting down. We plan on producing not just the content we're producing now, but even more content.
Even more!
And you'll be able to access that, patreon.com/Cornette.
Because you won't be able to leave the house because you'll catch something. You won't be able to sleep because you're worried about losing all your fucking money. And you might not be able to even watch television because they won't be able to fucking shoot TV shows. But by God, you can listen to us. We'll keep you posted on what's going on.
And they've just announced that the John Cena starring Fast and Furious film has been pushed back 1 year.
Oh, geez, a year? Now, that's a little fucking excessive.
Yeah. And it appears that various wrestling shows are being postponed now to May or the summer.
Well, you know what's not going to be postponed? Also, the premiere on Vice TV of Dark Side of the Ring Season 2, bigger, badder, and better than ever, which happens Tuesday, March 24th at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be 2 hours on the Chris Benoit story. And then every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern thereafter, for weeks and weeks and weeks, this season they're doing New Jack, the murder of Dino Bravo, the Road Warriors, Owen Hart. Martha's going to be involved in that one, I think, for the first time pretty much ever on a widely seen promotion or production. They're doing the Brawl for All, David Schultz. And next week here on The Experience, as our guests, we're going to have Evan Husney and Jason Eisner, who are the producer and director of last season and this season, that took this thing from a concept they had to the biggest hit original program on Vice TV in their history, and now a double-length season 2 on this thing. And, of course, yours truly will be featured dramatically therein in a number of the episodes. But next week, we're going to interview them about – they have done some crazy stories this year. And the New Jack episode alone may have given some people a reason to go to a psychiatrist. So they'll have some good stories on tracking these people down, if nothing else. And some of the people they have had to track down don't like to be tracked down. So anyway, we'll talk to them next week about that. I got another email here from one of the listeners before we go into all this wrestling talk, because it is wrestling talk, but it's wrestling philosophy, a potential explanation here. See if you follow the logic. Maybe you'll agree with this. A guy named Philip. I shouldn't be so impolite. A listener named Philip says, since I know you're a South Park fan too, you probably see my point here. In one of the earlier episodes, Mr. Garrison invented it. Did you see that episode, Brian? Where Mr. Garrison invented the transportation mechanism known as it?
You know, if I did, I don't remember it, so I probably didn't.
Well, because basically you don't keep up on all the good shows, right? South Park, Family Guy. But anyway, it's a big round thing. It's a mode of self-transportation. It doesn't require gasoline or any kind of – it's self-powered, right? You get in this round thing and you sit down on the seat and a fucking thing that looks suspiciously like a dildo rises up and sticks up your ass so you firmly are in control, and then another thing that looks suspiciously like a dildo comes out from the fucking front and goes in your mouth, and they pump in and out, and that is the way that you propel the transportation device. And Philip goes on to say, it was a transport vehicle to conquer the big airlines, and it was used by constantly getting fucked in the ass and mouth by 2 steering sticks. The people basically hated the way it worked, but said, well, it's better than those airlines. Do you think the same thing is happening in wrestling right now? People are sick of WWE, and rightfully so. So they are desperately looking for an alternative. Then AEW came along. And while on a lot of these AEW shows, there is a viewing experience that keeps fucking you metaphorically in the ass and mouth, people say it is great because at least it's not WWE. For example, Kenny Omega. I've never seen him before, but I've been told he is one of the greatest of all time. When I first saw him, I just thought, that's it? Really? And then I listened to some podcasts where they were saying, it's so amazing how Omega is telling the story that he isn't as good anymore as he once was and how he has to get back to his old form. So is he wrestling badly by intention? I didn't get it, and that's where I quit. So to sum it up, do you think people are just lying to themselves to support something which isn't WWE and make it look better than it is, or are there really people who really think that everything AEW does is the greatest thing ever? Thanks, Philip. I think it's both. I think people are, because I've seen SmackDown now, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I have seen so much WWE now that I'm starting to realize why, if this is what people have been looking at and thinking wrestling is for the past few years, no wonder AEW looks good. So would 2 dogs fucking on the side of the road. But could this be an explanation for part of it? It's just been so long since anybody has seen wrestling. Because I had somebody else email me, and I don't have it in front of me. Maybe I'll read it next week. But they said, when you talk to some people now about liking old school wrestling, they think it's like fucking Mantar and goddamn whatever, the gobbledygooker from the WWF. They don't understand it was Nick Bockwinkel and fucking Ray Stevens and Jerry Lawler and Ric Flair and whatever the fuck. Have they just completely fucking, not seen what this is supposed to be, so anything that comes along that is not as dreary as WWE is automatically fantastic?
I think it's both. I think that's a big part of it, and that's a big problem in wrestling overall, but I also think there's an audience that just loves the AEW style of wrestling, which is a mix of serious stuff, really stupid, goofy shit, lots and lots of flips, logic that may not be there in matches, and then other matches that have lots of logic. I think there's an audience for that, and then there's also an audience that never grew up with Mid-South Wrestling, never grew up with wrestling on TBS at 6:05 p.m., never grew up with Georgia Championship Wrestling or wrestling in Florida. They've only had the WWE, and if you have gone from just the WWE, and let's say you even saw Impact, which for so much of its time was WWE light, especially when they hired WWE guys to work behind the scenes, AEW probably is a breath of fresh air.
In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, as they say. All right. Anyway.
Is that Jerry Jarrett?
No. Oh, God. But you know what? Once again, what a brilliant fucking thing. When he wanted to get his son over Jeff's first angle into business, people knew that Jerry Jarrett was blind in one eye. It had been mentioned years before on a not regular basis, but it had been established. And so what do the heels do? They go for his good eye. That's being a fucking heel. Anyway.
When he wanted to get his son over the first time, that's what he did. It's the next time that was the problem. He created a company called TNA.
Well, it had a chance. Anyway, real quick, before we go to our reviews, and want to make mention of, we've had him on the show here before, and you do a show with him, and and he's covered a lot of Smoky Mountain and NWA history. Mike Mills and the Booking the Territory podcast.
Yeah.
He has come up on a couple of real good ones this week. He reviews the TBS Saturday night shows, and those podcasts come out on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Not sure whether that's Eastern or Central. I think Mike's down on Central. The Smoky Mountain Wrestling review show comes out on Sundays at the same time. But the coming up on, it's already happened. It was last week. I tell a lie. But he just reviewed the episode where the original Midnight Express and Paul E. Dangerously come out and attack me and the Midnight Express, where we had lost the World Tag Team title of the Road Warriors in New Orleans. They showed that tape. Then I get the phone call in the middle of Stan's match, and then suddenly the original Midnight and Paul E. come in and crack me with the phone, etc. He reviewed that entire episode, and the Smoky Mountain episode that he reviewed this past week also on that podcast was number 185 from August 12th, 1995, which was one of my favorite shows because it was the first part of the Super Bowl of wrestling. The Thugs against the Heavenly Bodies in that incredible match they had. That's where a lot of people have seen the clip where Tracy Smothers pile drove Dr. Tom Pritchard, and they didn't break the table. They went through a hole in the table and got stuck, folded up together because Tom's head and Tracy's ass and legs were folded up inside the fucking table. And then also there's a great segment with Ron Wright. I won't spoil it for everybody, but Mike Mills and the Booking the Territory podcast, he does this on a regular basis. I don't know how he has the energy, but if you can, do we know how the folks can listen to Mike's shows succinctly?
I believe there's a tiny URL. I'm pulling it up right now because I don't have it in front of me. Hold on 1 second.
If there's I thought you had memorized all the tiny URLs.
Here it is. tinyurl.com/bttpod.
There, I see it myself now. It's all over everything now that I'm looking for it.
Hey, if I could ask you a couple of quick questions about this on these topics. You know, I hate to say this. I had forgotten that the original Midnight Express and Paulie Dangerously Attack happened on the same episode where they aired the title change. For some reason, I didn't remember that was all one episode.
Yes, because the title change was like October 30th, and the TV show aired November 5th, so they basically took the tape back and turned it around. We shot that show, that TBS studio show, on a Tuesday night, I believe, because that's when TBS had taken over and was changing the schedule around. And instead of being there on Saturday morning to do a studio show and then have a house show somewhere Saturday night, they had us there on a Tuesday and a Wednesday night. And we shot 2 weeks of TV in a row. And I'm like, what the fuck? So nights we normally would have been going out and doing house shows and getting paid. Now we're doing TV tapings for, I think they gave us $40 trans at that point in time. So that's what 3 or 4 TV tapings a week will give you maybe it was 60. Give you a negative fucking outlook on life. And because I remember that the first night, which that's why I'm thinking it was a Tuesday. I don't have my book in front of me, but he cracks me over the fucking head. I've got the gash. I'm bleeding like crazy. It opened up later that night in the hotel room through mysterious circumstances, which I won't go into at this time. And then we had to come back the next night, so at least I still had a fresh fucking wound on my, as I put the bandage on, and I had mercurochrome, and I left the part that it was sticking out so you could see it was really cut, and it looked good for the next week's TV show interview, like, you know, because it was fresh. It only happened just the previous night. So, but yeah, we were taping those on like Tuesday and Wednesday night. It just threw our goddamn body clocks all off.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You had been talking to Paul E. before this. I mean, you're the reason they got in there. Was Dusty asked you guys if you were okay with it, and you guys said, yeah, we want to work with him?
Well, no, I pitched, he asked us about Dennis. I pitched him the idea for all of them. I'd been talking to Paul E. because I wanted to find out if Paul E. wanted to come in and work with us, because the Horsemen had left. That was going to be our program for the next 6 months. Well, they leave in September and go to the WWF. And then we're back working with the Fantastics, which wasn't going to work because we had just done that, the whole program 6 months previously, but also now with the Horseman thing, we'd been put in the sympathetic position. people were going to cheer us against the Horsemen. So now against the Fantastics, people were still going with it. We've been cussing the Horsemen out on TV for 2 months. So half the people are cheering us, half the people are cheering the Fantastics. This was not a money spot. We'd already done the program, and it wasn't going to be used on top. So I knew, and then also we were the World Tag Team Champions, but that obviously was not going to last fucking long. We had nothing to do. Well, then I found out Dusty wanted to switch the Road Warriors heel and put the belts on them because he was planning on really hot-shotting things. When TBS took over, he wanted to really get the fucking houses up. So he was going to hot-shot some shit. And that was a shocking thing with the Road Warriors turning. Of course, as it turned out, people didn't really want to boo him. But he was going to try to move some people, and losing Tully and Arnie wanted to try to make some fucking waves. So at that time, Paul had gotten Dennis to come back and work for Vern because Dennis was in Colorado at that point. They were doing TV tapings at the Showboat in Las Vegas. He put the original Midnight back together. But I obviously, working for Turner Broadcasting was going to be a higher paying job than working for Vern Gagne in the AWA in 1988, right, doing TV tapings. So I knew they would want to come. I called him, ran the idea by him. Yes, he was all for it, and that's when I hit Dusty with it. Let us bring them in and let us do a fucking program over the Midnight Express name. We're already half baby faces. We'll go the whole way and let them make a big splash, with the whole angle as I laid out. The only change was I had them getting juice on all three of us, and Dusty said, "Not just you. If you're going to get juice, if you're going to get youth, kid, they've never seen that before. Just keep it on you. Keep the attention."
He was right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he did say Dennis had walked out. Dennis had left us. I won't bring him in. If you want to do the thing with the manager and we get another partner. I said, no, Dennis is the whole fucking reason it works. Paulie's a great promo, but none of these guys would identify the original Midnight Express with us if not for Dennis. So none of the fans would. So it has to be and he said, okay, as long as you guys are fine, we'll do it. Because he always liked Dennis. And that's how we got started with it. And then, of course, we shoot the fucking angle. And, 2 weeks later, he gets fired as booker. And there we go. And then we went down the fucking rabbit hole and it was all buried.
But that Tuesday night taping, had you or Bobby seen or spoken to Dennis before he showed up at Techwood Drive?
No. We didn't have his fucking phone number. When he came back in, we hugged and shook hands. And, okay. And we, I laid the thing out for the guys because Dusty said, it's your thing. You do it. And obviously he knew what we were doing. And he gave us the format of how we do it as far as the match. I said, just have a match. Okay, it'll be Stan Lane versus the Menace because Bobby was limping and selling the beating from the Road Warriors. So that way we were even further in a sympathetic position and at more of a disadvantage. And then, Dennis, we fell right back into it. And I mean, there was no heat, so everybody was excited about doing this because it was going to get a lot of attention, which it did for 2 weeks until Dusty was gone and then they buried it.
Well, one other question. And once again, you could hear Mike Mills and his crew review these shows, tinyurl.com/BTTpod, the Smoky Mountain Show. Because I was there. I was at the Super Bowl of Wrestling. And, it was one of those things where it worked out beautifully because it was a legendary match. It was just a fantastic match. Dr. Tom Pritchard and Tracy Smothers are two of the best wrestlers I ever saw live multiple times. I mean, they were always just great. But originally, again, this all happened because Ricky Morton got fired.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would have changed everything. What would that match have originally been?
Well, it was originally going to be the Thugs, Dirty White Boy and Tracy Smothers, a babyface tag team versus the Rock and Roll Express for the Smoky Mountain Tag Team title. Because I'd started building that the Rock and Roll and Tracy and Tony had originally naturally comes about that two teams that both want to be in the top spot want to have a match. And then we were starting to put in a little bit more personal fucking issue. However, the personal issue became, and this story's been told, it's out there somewhere, I think on YouTube. Ricky and Tracy went out with each other and their girlfriends at the time, after the matches in Johnson City, and their girlfriends later would become Ricky's wife. But Tracy, his migrated away after this. They got an actual fight. Alcohol was involved, but they got in a blows throwing fight. And apparently because of it was either in the back seat or coming out of the back seat of a car. And, the person that's first out of the car always has the upper hand. And that was Tracy's girlfriend. So Ricky's now wife got kind of fucking pickled. And anyway, they got the police involved in it. And at the time, the Rock and Roll Express was working 3 nights a week in the Knoxville territory for me, and 3 nights a week in the Memphis territory for Randy Hales. And so were Tracy and Tony, because the Memphis territory ran Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for their regular towns. We ran Friday, Saturday, Sundays, or whatever. So it was a fucking multi-territory thing. Everybody, once that everybody calmed down, agreed to drop everything and not involve the cops and not press any charges, except for Ricky's better half, who wouldn't drop the charges and was going to press them. And me and Randy Hales had to, because then Tracy said, well, if they drop the charges, everything's fine. I've said I'll apologize. She'll apologize, whatever. But if the charges weren't dropped, there's probably going to be some kind of fucking fist fight, and we couldn't have that because I was trying to book a work instead of a shoot between these two individuals. And the shoot would have been probably more entertaining, but it only happened once. So basically, the person representing the person that wouldn't drop the charges was the one that had to get fired, and that was Ricky, unfortunately.
From 2 companies, from Smoky Mountain and the USW.
Yeah, because me and Randy got him. We were in the same room, me and Randy Hales. Well, we got him on the phone and said, can you do anything? And he said, no, she's pretty convinced she's going to do this. And that was the one rule you couldn't break. Everybody would apologize to everybody else. Everybody would shake hands to everybody else. We'd keep people separate. They don't have to see each other, whatever the solution. But you didn't involve the police in the wrestling business. Inside the wrestling business is business. And the person that had to fucking be removed. But then that was August, right? That was almost August. August, September. 3 months later, I was able to bring Ricky back as the fucking mystery partner to fight the Heavenly Bodies and Robert Gibson, who had turned heel. And he teamed with the fucking thugs, Tracy and Tony, in our last weekend's matches. So it all worked out. But for a few months there was a lot of heat. But that would have originally been a program between the Rock and Roll Express and the Thugs, which had not been done, sort of similar to the Horsemen and the Midnight Express, except it was 2 babyface teams instead of 2 heel teams. But I was honestly going to see who the people took to at that big show in Knoxville to know what direction to go in the future as far as who to make. Nobody was going to really switch. But there was always going to be one sympathetic team and one team that was probably going to be a little rougher. And it just depended on what the reaction was that first night. But we never got there.
Would the Bodies have been on that show in any kind of surprise capacity, or they wouldn't even have been there?
No, they were, thank God, even though there is none. That was the beautiful part of it, because I would have shit except that the Bodies' 1-year contract, 1-year run that they had started was just coming up to begin with, and that's when Jimmy Del Rey had gotten some heat in the locker room, and they weren't going to renew him. And so that's how me and Randy were able to make the deal to bring them in, where they would work both territories also. Half the week for me and half the week for him. So nobody knew they were going to be there. They came out as a surprise. And that's when I started the fucking program with the Bodies and the Thugs over that match, which ended up being a classic. And that's why it had to be, because, our main event was Buddy Landell and Shawn Michaels that night. Shawn wasn't coming back. It was to help facilitate the Buddy Landell babyface turn that we would have more issues in that match. But the only thing really that I could count on coming back of a main event stature right off the bat was White Boy and Smothers against Heavenly Bodies. So we had to have a good one and show it on fucking TV to show, oh my God, there's blood and there's guts and there's violence and there's fucking heat and chaos. Holy shit. And that was what that was.
You can hear more about these fantastic shows, tinyurl.com/bttpod. And we should have Mike Mills on the show at some point to talk about all this.
Yes, we should, because he knows this stuff better than I do, because he's watched it more recently. Some of the stuff I haven't seen in 20 years. Anyway, tell the people what you're going to do on your fantastic shows before we talk about the semi-fantastic shows I've watched this past week.
This week on the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network, which is open, unlike Broadway, which has just announced that their theaters will be suspending performances.
Are you serious? What?
Yeah.
Well, and you're only 45 minutes from Broadway.
A little bit more than that, but yeah.
I was referring to the song, 45 minutes from Broadway.
Okay.
That was an old George M. Cohan tune.
I'm not a big fan of
that
song.
He wrote Yankee Doodle Dandy. He was a patriot.
I like...
You fucking communist prick.
I like Downtown by Petula Clark.
Well, the things would be great if you're downtown, except for the coronavirus.
That's right. It's really
the lights are much brighter there. You can forget all your troubles and forget all your cares, and then your intestines will turn to jelly. All right, Dr. Toboggan, what are you doing?
This week on the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network, you can find out more information about all shows on Twitter at Superpodcasts or on Facebook, facebook.com/Arcadian Vanguard. Want to mention Ron Fuller's Studcast, which is such a popular show, and there's a new feature Ron's added to the show the last several weeks called The Learning Tree, where Ron gives his thoughts. Really, I can't speak. It's what it sounds like with The Learning Tree. You sit under the Learning Tree and Ron shares his thoughts and his, protocols for how to do different things in wrestling.
I thought you were going to say, you sit under the learning tree and Ron drops some sap on you.
He says, Bundy, you big piece of shit.
Yeah.
No, but it's become a very, very popular segment. He talked about one a few weeks ago with what would have happened if he had teamed up with Jim Barnett instead of Vince McMahon. I mean, there's lots of different things Ron has been approaching with this while also reviewing Southeastern wrestling. We're now in 1976. There's so much happening. Listen to more at fullerpod.com or available wherever it is that you find your favorite podcast. Want to make mention of Stick to Wrestling with John McAdam and Sean Goodwin. One of my favorite guests from the 605 Super Podcast, Ricardo Coleman. Professor Ricardo Coleman is on the show talking about Mid-South wrestling. He, of course, grew up in New Orleans, so he has a very unique and a perspective I think a lot of people should hear when trying to judge Mid-South wrestling. Check it out today, McAdamPod.com, available wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And, of course, the 605 Super Podcast, The Mothership!
You know, that needs to be quarantined.
We'll just see about that. The long-awaited Pampero Firpo special is out now, and the reviews have been fantastic. Thank you to everyone who has already listened and downloaded, and, of course, everyone who has commented on this episode. It has many segments looking at the life and career of Pampero Firpo, including exclusive audio from 1972 in New York when Pampero Firpo first came in with the Grand Wizard as his manager, his first match on TV, his first promo building up his appearance. Also, audio from 1968 in Hawaii. Here, Pampero Firpo, a lot of people are really going crazy about Ripper Collins, and we're going to have more Ripper Collins audio on the show in the future. That laugh of his, but you can hear more of that, and something that I'm surprised the reaction. I knew it was good, but everyone's really gone crazy over it. The interview with Mary, the daughter of Pampero Firpo. This is an extensive look at...
Oh, no, wait a minute. Don't get Mary, the daughter of Pampero. It's like the 500-pound bolo. That's a very awkward, very wordy. Mary, who is the daughter of Pampero Firpo. I don't know if she wants her last name used, but we call her Mary Firpo because we love her.
That's right.
That's what you're talking about.
That's who I'm talking about. I didn't want to give her last name because I didn't know if she wanted out there. But actually, it's on the show. Mary Freese. You can hear it, the interview. It is one of the best interviews in the history of the show. Check it out today. 605pod.com, available wherever it is that you find your favorite podcast. Episode 102 in production right now. And I think this is going to be another winner. But they're all winners.
Oh, yeah.
The Mothership.
All right, this is the first week of the Smackdown experiment, right? We watched Raw for 3 weeks, and I'll never get that time back. And so I said, there's got to be something else. There has to be something better than this, Brian. So I said, well, let's watch SmackDown, because I have not seen SmackDown in ages and eons, right? So I don't know what it was looking like these days. But I figured it's not as long, and I figured it had to be a little perkier than Raw. So we said we're going to do this for 3 weeks. That may change, but it's subject to change depending on governmental regulation. But let's do it first because I didn't see all of SmackDown. I missed the first 5 minutes because my DVR somehow fucked up. It didn't even want to put me through this. So I noticed as I went by, it wasn't recording. So I hit record real quick. I missed the first 5 minutes. This was the SmackDown of Friday night, March the 6th, right? Correct. But because I wasn't going to watch it live because at least I want to be able to skip through the commercials and I had other shit to do. But when I went, I said I hit the DVR. So I went back, I watched it. It started with the Hall of Fame inductees being read in the ring by Alexa Bliss and some girl with her. So what did I miss?
That was kind of the open. I mean, I think they may have done a recap at the top with John Cena there the previous week, seemingly accepting a challenge from Bray Wyatt to wrestle at WrestleMania, which may or may not happen. And then we went to, I think it's a Moment of Bliss, which is the Alexa Bliss interview segment with her and her best friend.
Okay. Who is the best friend?
Is it Nikki Cross? Was that it?
I don't fucking know. They never said her name in anything that I got on this tape. I got that she's the stooge girl that is the friend and took selfies with is just a goofy sidekick, right? I got that, but I don't know what her name is.
I believe it's Nikki Cross.
Anyway, they introed Hall and Nash and Waltman. And I thought, certainly to God, they're not, because normally when they bring the legends out, it's to make buffoons out of them, but they're not going to do that here. You could tell X-Pac was having a ball. The loss of hair for that entire group over the last 20 years is epic. Nash has a gray crew cut. Hall is completely gray. Fucking Waltman has part of it shaved, I guess, for the fashion, but he don't have as much as he used to. But it looks like they donated it to some cancer fucking fundraiser or whatever. But anyway, Alexa Bliss did not utter a single word in this, including the questions, that wasn't scripted to death. She just horrible, vacant. Obviously, she's there because she's a beautiful blonde, and I'm sure that if Vince is still allowed to do this now that the company is publicly traded, he's talking about white cotton panties in the fucking creative meetings. That's obviously why she's there, because God almighty, a fucking android could have done a better job with this. But Nash stole the segment of, as you would imagine he would, just by sounding like he meant it, and he was the only real person. I mean, Hall didn't say anything really much. So, but it was like the difference, but it was like the real stars from years ago were now on this fake program. I mean, is that the way it came off to you?
Yeah. I mean, the scripting of everyone saying everything is just so atrocious. Like Sean Waltman, who definitely was having a good time out there. Like they even put that line to him. What should I call you? Sean or X-Pac or Six? Hall of Famer. Like, one of those goofs in the back wrote that line.
Yeah.
Nash was the smartest one. He said nothing.
Yeah, but he sounded like he meant it.
Yeah.
But then help me, because here comes Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura to interrupt. Weren't people losing their minds over Shinsuke Nakamura about 3 or 4 years ago?
Oh,
Wasn't
he
like the second coming and a main event guy?
He was my favorite guy in New Japan. Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
Vince McMahon.
Okay, Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli. I am a huge fan of his. He's strong as a bull. He's fucking smart. He speaks multiple languages. He looks like a fucking beast. He can work. What happened to him?
Vince McMahon. And he got himself over despite his push. And then he got hit by Vince.
And Sami Zayn, who actually brought some life to this thing. I knew that somebody had told him to say all this shit, but he had enough personality and oomph to the delivery and glibness that at least it was okay to listen to. And this is the guy that was hell-bent on refusing any suggestions for his presentation otherwise than he be a mute luchador with a mask and could talk like that.
And somehow he went, I haven't watched a show like you in a very long time. Somehow he went from a fan of ska to seemingly dressing like Fidel Castro. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. And I guess he's hurt is why he's kind of in a manager position or whatever, which may be good for him because he can talk his ass off. And he had a bad shoulder or bad shoulders when he was El Generico in Ring of Honor, which was why I also, thought that maybe they might want to quit having the matches with the ladders and the tables, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, Sami Zayn zings X-Pac. And Hall and Nash zing back, and they do the face-to-face, and the heels back down. Zayn did great with that, the backing down, we're not going to have a fight, blah, blah, blah. But then here comes, explain this to me, Lucy. Braun Strowman comes out, who drops Cesaro, then Nakamura. Sami Zayn gets trapped, hides behind Bliss, and bails. That was actually funny, and probably they can't touch him if he's injured or whatever. This whole thing was entertaining for TV until I found out that it is actually a handicap match 3-on-1 on the pay-per-view with Strowman against all three of these fucking heels who have backed down and got leveled already. And they're all just fodder for top guys. And now Strowman has nobody else to work with. So he's got to beat up three people. What the fuck is going on here?
Vince McMahon booking. Who's in charge of SmackDown? Is it Bruce Pritchard?
Yes, because they said Heyman's in charge of Raw, and you see one segment that looks like Heyman had anything to do with it on Raw.
By the way, do you know the results from, I believe it was the Elimination Chamber event for what happened with these guys?
I do not.
Sami Zayn pinned Strowman to win the Intercontinental Championship.
Well, so he's not hurt.
Seemingly not. 3-on-1 handicap match, and he is now the Intercontinental Champion.
So they were just trying to keep the heat on him by having him beg off and plead off and his guys get beat up and then nobody actually touched him.
I guess so. I thought it was good, too, when he threw Alexa Bliss in front of him. He was really good in that role, I thought, all things considered.
Yeah, you think. Now imagine if that was a mute ginger Muslim from Canada playing a luchador named El Generico. And he just used sign language and didn't say anything in that segment. How over would it have gotten? But anyway, I don't understand. So he's the new Intercontinental Champion, but he's portrayed as a pussy, and it was an accidental win. So now Strowman's going to beat all three of these guys up. I don't fucking know. Anyway, that was what that was, basically, right?
Can I just say it here? Because I don't remember how many of them were around when you were actively going to all the TV tapings for WWE, but I hate their interview shows. I guess that's what they call it. This is my show. Like, yes. Piper's Pit worked.
Yeah.
Because it was like 3 minutes.
And it was Piper.
In and out. But they even did some ones after that. Like even Brother Love. We'll say something nice about Bruce here real quick. For the most part, that was in and out. It was kind of quick.
The King's Court still moved, and it was Lawler.
And it wasn't just in the middle of the ring, awkward. Like, oh, now I'm just hosting a show in the middle of this show. It'll go on forever, and I'll say things in such an awkward manner that I was clearly scripted. Piper's Pit, 3 minutes.
Next match. Naomi and Lacey Evans against Bayley and Sasha Banks. Naomi's entrance would give you seizures. Lacey Evans, I despise the clown outfit she comes to the ring in. And then here's the problem.
She's a Southern Belle.
Fuck you. My Aunt Lola never dressed like that.
Now Vince is saying the white cotton panties about her.
And Lacey, and I guarantee you the Southern Belle is his idea too, because she's just a Southern Belle, and she had the plantation shit and the hoop skirt and whatever the fuck. I don't care if they dress her like fucking, goddamn, fucking Aunt Jemima, for fuck's sake. It's ridiculous. I didn't know who the heels were at first because I figured, okay, Naomi's entrance looks like a baby face, but she's partners with Lacey Evans, who's got to be a heel with that outfit. And wasn't she just coming out interrupting the show several months ago, just saying, let you people see me and how pretty I am.
You know what? Now that you say that, I think that was the last time we had seen any of these shows. That has to be a while ago now, maybe a year ago. Was her just parading out and then parading back for no reason.
So then Bayley and Sasha Banks are now the heels. Bayley, smiling happy Bayley that they, I guess, fucking ruined that gimmick. Didn't Sasha Banks have heat and quit the business or something here a while back?
I can't speak to the heat, but I believe she was home for a while, and I believe she was okay with that.
Anyway, who are the heels? Cunt Lacey's a babyface. Happy Bayley is a heel. I wrote, I don't know what the fuck is happening here. I did take this match to notice that Michael Cole sounds great these days. And maybe it's just the other announcers I've been listening to also, but he's got the inflections. He when he's calling something, he knows when to get in and get out. He's given a bunch of stupid shit to say, but he sounded smoother and more energetic than most people on television these days. And maybe once again, I like you, Michael, if you're listening, but maybe this is just the lowering of the bar.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, Sasha Banks pinned Naomi in the corner with a muff package. I don't know what the fuck. She sat on her face. She sat on her fucking face.
Oh,
I don't know what they were doing, but anyway, we moved on to a lady named Kayla Braxton who was talking to Kofi and Big E the New Day. And where is fucking Apollo Creed, Consequences Creed? What's his name up there? Xavier Woods. He was Consequences Creed in TNA.
I don't know.
He's not there. He wasn't there. I just have several notes. We're not going to take a lot of time on this. Kofi scripted promo, Big E mugging and pulling faces, as they say across the pond. Then he did a scripted promo. It was all showbiz. They have energy. They can talk and say shit. They got good facials. I'd like to hear them do a fucking wrestling promo. This was just sports entertainment bullshit that made no sense and meant nothing. And then here was... We talk about the formatting of this show, and they are making a massive leap of faith that when they send somebody to the ring that they think is a star, that the people at home are just go, oh my God, I've got to sit right here and wait till this star does something, no matter how long it takes. Because then they had Sheamus making his entrance, and they went to a fucking break, right? They come back. And they don't go to Sheamus, they go backstage to Bayley and Sasha doing some scripted bullshit with each other. Then they show us Sheamus is standing in the ring still. Then they go back to backstage with two guys that are not identified. And later on we find out it's Apollo Crews and poor old Shorty Gable. If you know them, you know who they are, but they weren't identified. If you were like me and was like, who the fuck is that? They do an interview. Then they go back to the ring, and it's Sheamus versus Apollo Crews. But Sheamus, from the time he walked out, had to fucking either walk to the ring or stand in the ring for 5 to 6 minutes. And what a horrible show this must be to watch live in the arena. But why would you, I don't understand why you would milk that like that. And it was so awkward and they were going back and forth. And then as soon as the match starts, I don't think I have seen Crews wrestle, but he opened it up and looked good for a couple of seconds. Sheamus jump started it and was herky-jerky and almost killed Crews with something. He was trying to chuck him over the rope or do something or whatever the fuck he was doing. But then they just rushed through a bunch of shit, and then Sheamus hit him with a kick, 1, 2, 3. These matches either last 25 fucking minutes or they hardly ever get started and they're over with. And to look at the two of them, I'd be pushing Apollo Crews. That pale skin and that weird hair on Sheamus, he just looks like a fucking gimmick. And I thought Crews looked pretty fucking good, and he's fresh. And they just flattened him, flattered and plate full of piss right there. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I think you summed that up pretty well. I mean, Sheamus has obviously gotten a top guy push in the past. He's been there for a while. I mean,
Isn't he friends with Triple H?
I believe they may be workout buddies in the past. I don't know what they...
Sheamus works out?
Yeah, he's in good shape. It's just he's so pale. He's
translucent.
You can't tell how defined he is.
He's one of those old-fashioned bathroom windows where it's slightly obscured, opaque. You can see through it, but not detail. Anyway, that was what that was. And then Drake Maverick is backstage asking someone who looks like a car salesman, but I guess is an authority figure, for the opportunity to fight Daniel Bryan. And then Daniel Bryan walks in and asks this authority figure for a fucking match. Who is the fucking authority figure? And why does he look like a fucking used car salesman? And
I had to look it up because they didn't identify anybody. I actually had to look it up, and apparently one of the matches on the pay-per-view was Daniel Bryan against Drew Gulak. And apparently that was Drew Gulak.
Well, and what's he in charge of?
I have no idea. That wasn't explained.
All right. Then, you see this thing going to take a long time. Carmella and Dana Brooke against Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville with Dolph Ziggler. And I got to be honest, I was already to hit the fast forward button, but I saw Dolph and I said, wait a minute, I'll hold up. And then I regretted my decision. Sonya Deville seemed serious, but these girls are too gorgeous and too plastic and too bleach blonde to be taken seriously as fucking wrestlers. Dana Brooke apparently must be stiff because Sonya Deville was flinching on everything she did. Dana Brooke went to a fucking cartwheel into a goddamn one of those elbows in the corner trying to be the Great Muta. And Sonya Deville saw that coming and watching slow motion. She turned her shoulder into it and covered her face up. And I don't know what the fuck. This was 3 fucking plastic blondes and what looked like somebody trying to be a wrestler having a fucking girls match, and somebody won, and I don't give a fuck. And that's my opinion on that.
Can I say something?
Yes, please do.
I don't want to single out anybody, but I'm going to say that you could apply this across the board. I understand if you're 65 years old, or maybe even in your 50s. But if you are a woman in your 20s or 30s, please do not get plastic surgery to your face. Because it looks like you had plastic surgery to your face, and it doesn't look good, and it doesn't look natural, and you were probably beautiful enough before it that it wasn't necessary.
Which one of these, or do you want to narrow that down?
I'm not going to.
I don't know what they're supposed to look like.
I'm going to be honest. It's not limited to this match. I think it's a problem throughout wrestling. Well, I'm not even going to say throughout wrestling. Throughout WWE, where there's a lot of women who are young and attractive, and all of a sudden they start doing shit to their face, whether it's the duck lips or I don't know if they're getting eye jobs or what the fuck. Some of them have had complete facial reconstructive surgeries, seemingly. I just don't get it. Unless you're an old person and you're really worried about people seeing your wrinkles and shit, please stop. It's not looking good.
I remember when all I had to worry about was them coming back to OVW with giant 44-inch fucking tatas.
Can you imagine if Moolah had a facelift?
They'd have had enough left over to make a midget. Are you kidding? She'd have had nipples on her chin. Anyway, so they did I'm glad this entertains you. Hopefully it'll work for the rest of the audience. They did a package from last week where The Fiend challenged Cena for WrestleMania right after Cena said I wasn't going to be at WrestleMania, and then he didn't have to twist his arm to accept it. And then they did the Firefly Funhouse. This is the first time I've heard people talk about this. You tried to get me to watch one time, and we lost track of it. I didn't do it. I haven't seen this. I don't know what to think about the presentation, but God, this guy can talk. It may be one of those things that this is so fucking goofy, except this is the one in a million guy that could make this work, I guess. Because it is goofy like all the rest of the shit's goofy, but when you get one of those guys, like Mick Foley, nobody else could do his shit, but with him, he could get by even if it was goofy. When you're good enough and you've just got that something, but boy, he can fucking talk, can't he?
You know, there is a FCW documentary that the WWE Network just put out, and I actually think you should watch it because I'd love to get your takes on it, but it was really well done. And it's funny that you say this because one of the things in there is they talk about Dusty Rhodes' promo class. And they have various talents like, I think, Sasha Banks and Seth Rollins and all these different people who are now on the main roster talking about being in that class. And I think it may have been Sasha Banks who said, and then, Bray Wyatt, we never knew what he was saying. But the way he said it just pulled us all in. But we had no idea what the hell he was talking about.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, whether it was Handsome Jimmy on Memphis TV or fucking, whatever. It wasn't what they said. It was how they said it and whether they sounded like they meant it or not. But anyway, yeah, that was a good little thing, little piece of business, as they say. It brightened this fucking program up tremendously. But then they go from that to Baron Corbin and Elias backstage again, as they say, looking like complete fucking lunatics. Corbin looks horrendous. They've gimmicked him up in a crown and a fucking robe. And he doesn't pull it off like either Lawler or Bobby Shane. Elias, does he ever wrestle or does he just hang around in the back and play guitar every once in a while?
Every time I see him, he's strumming a guitar. And this is like 2 years now. Every time I turn on that show, he's doing the same thing.
And then they went from that to Heavy Machinery backstage with... Was it Mandy? They're mumbling about Valentine's Day. I don't know what the fuck. It's just, it's like Glow used to be. Well, I always hated Glow when Glow came on television in the 80s. I knew it was going to be bad for wrestling because if that silliness is obviously phony and bullshit, but yet their moves look kind of similar to what some of the people on the real wrestling show do, that means it's fucking bullshit. This is like the tone and the presentation and the overall silliness and we're not even expecting anybody to take this seriously and we're not taking it seriously attitude on this show that Glow had. And it's just rotten. They have dropped, like I said, on Raw or about Raw, they've dropped any pretense of a sporting presentation, any pretense of the shit not being scripted or planned. And it's just bad, because that is the definition of bad wrestling. When you're not trying to make people believe what you're doing, it's bad.
I said it, maybe it was last week. It may have been about Raw. One of the things I hate about the WWE is you have grown-ups acting like children.
Yes.
Backstage, there are no adults that talk this way or act this way. Like that Baron Corbin and Elias segment, there are no adults in the entire world who behave in this manner or talk in this manner. Who is this for? Who is the target audience for a stupid segment like, other than Vince McMahon?
All the people who are shut in their house and aren't allowed to go anywhere, apparently. Maybe the ratings will go up.
We'll see about that.
And then they go to This Week in History, and there is Daniel Bryan with something that he fucking introduced and brought to the fucking table with hundreds of people all around the ring screaming, yes, 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 forcing Triple H to give him a match at WrestleMania, and their place is full of excitement just 6 short years ago. And now everybody's sitting on their fucking hands. All right. The main event, and it went a while. I'm not going to knock the whole thing, and there was a few spots I wanted to knock it. I didn't see where it was all the way going. But there was some great stuff here, and I think some of the great stuff may have been in spite of some of the other shit. But they had a tag team gauntlet match where it's like Royal Rumble rule. Well, not, it's more like old King of the Mountain rules from Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Two teams wrestle, and the winner faces the next one to enter, and the next one to enter, etc., until the last one is left.
Rob
Moore came up with those rules 25 years ago. And the winner gets the last place entrance in the Elimination Chamber on pay-per-view for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Holy fuck. It just confusing. They did the New Day entrance. Jesus is all I can say. And they face Heavy Machinery, who have Working Man Tucker and Working Man Otis on their fucking ass of their tights. They're the cleanest. They're clean tights, but they're working men. If they're supposed to be working men, why aren't they dirty? Here's a better idea. Get a fucking better gimmick for these poor guys. They work their ass off. Their gimmick is so phony. It is a gimmick that is destined to WWE mid-card obscurity, and these guys are talented. So they did some stuff good here. They did a nice delay suplex spot. Big E couldn't get his big ass over the top rope on the clothesline, and they go to break. And they come back to no action. Everybody's down. And Big E makes a cold tag to Kofi. And Kofi makes a nice comeback. It's very athletic. And they did a hell of a spot where Big E boosted Kofi up over the top onto a Fez press, but Otis caught him and belly-to-bellied him, and that got a big pop. And then Tucker drop-kicked Big E out on the floor, and that got a big pop. And I'm just thinking, these guys, these human beings in this slovenly, sloppy, horrible bullshit gimmick, if they were pushed as main eventers and either given a manager as heels or just given a push as baby faces, I know that's what they're trying to do in this match, but without the fucking sad gimmick, they could be main event level fucking talents. Anyway, I wrote, this is better than I thought it would be. And then finally, they hit a double splash, which looked fucking fabulous, on Big E and 1, 2, 3, and I thought it was going to be New Day because I figured they were the names. So thank God that was a great finish and the right team got over. But then here comes Lucha House Party. Who comes up with this shit? These gimmicks. Lucha House Party? Have you... one guy's name was Lance Dorado and the other guy's name was Metallic. Is this correct?
Yes. I don't know who comes up with it.
So they immediately, Lucha House Party starts diving. They hit big dives to the floor and they go to the break. But when they come back, this is going forever. Heavy Machinery just beat New Day, who have been a pretty prominently used tag team. And they beat them. And now they're carrying these guys that are half their size, that are doing all this flippy bullshit. They're having to cooperate with the flippy bullshit and go too long, carry these guys too long. If they're pushing them, which is apparently what the fucking idea of this gauntlet match was, to push Heavy Machinery, they needed to beat these guys decisively. They put more time in, or it seemed like it, with these guys than anybody else. They had the momentum after New Day. They should have smashed these fucking guys. And then Otis beat one of them with a fucking worm and an elbow drop. I'm not sure how I feel about Otis doing the worm, but I know it's fucking modern times. But then here comes the Usos. And you think, okay, here's another team they've used well in the past, right? And they've got some athletic ability. And you'd think, okay, this is going to be fairly good. As soon as the Usos come down the ramp, they go to break on the entrance. They come back after a commercial. After all that excitement, here come the Usos, and they're on an arm bar. They did some quick, sloppy shit that looked like a style clash or somebody didn't want to be there. And Heavy Machinery just beat them. Do the Usos have heat?
I don't know.
They could have put in the time. They could have beat Lucha House Party as quickly as they did the Usos, put the time in with the Usos, had a better match. You would think have a better match instead of what they rushed through. Or maybe somebody didn't want to be there. I don't fucking know. But anyway, all this was to... So people are now, they're with old Heavy Machinery. This was working, and here comes Miz and Morrison. And I'm going to say this, John Morrison looks like such a star, he can make Miz look cool somehow. I didn't even mind looking at Miz when he was standing next to John Morrison. I never knew that Miz was left-handed and throws a rotten fucking punch. But the problem I had with this part, this was a tale of 2 fucking matches. It started really rotten, but ended up fairly good. But Miz and Morrison were both trying to do too much at the beginning to Tucker, who was already selling 3 matches and probably realistically blown up, and he couldn't. They were hitting the ropes and boom, 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 and doing stuff and dropping on him. He couldn't sell it all, and he shouldn't have sold it all. It was too fast for, him to be able to sell all that shit. It was awkward until Tucker really leveled fucking Morrison, and then they lightened it up a little bit, or, livened it up, whatever. They double teamed Tucker to death. Morrison hit a great flip elbow off the top rope, and Otis made the save. And then some way when Miz and Otis went outside, Tucker small packaged Morrison. So holy shit, they've won another one. And the heel, I thought, well, they'll put Miz and Morrison over. But then the heels get heat on Heavy Machinery and throw Otis through the fucking barricade, which looked good. But what really hurts you enough to keep you out of fucking commission anymore? Anyway, then here comes the last team, Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. And I was like, what the yes, I've always loved Roode.
Robert Roode.
Well, okay, I knew Bobby, it's Robert. He's so good. He looks so good. He's in such great shape. His timing, his ring presence, his body language. He always reminded me of Arn Anderson. Just an underrated guy. I love Robert Roode's work. But of course, when they come back from the break, Roode's just hit his spine buster on Tucker, and they've missed it because they had to go to a wide shot for a graphic. But Otis is still out on the floor. Roode's cooking. Dolph Ziggler is a master. Ziggler and Roode together, you could tell, were at another level in ring than all the other teams. And they were with it. And then this really picked up. And, Otis did a good job for being a big, fat fuck. I say that affectionately. He started a little comeback on the floor, and he milked going to the cover for the tag. And the heels set Tucker up perfect when they did the fucking triple down. Everybody was in the right place. Tucker hits the hot tag, and people blow. And because Roode and Ziggler both knew exactly where they were, and they knew they were in the right place, so they could feed Otis when he came in, which they did perfectly. It was refreshing to see. And then Otis kicks the shit out of the fucking heels, but Ziggler makes a blind tag and hit one great super kick. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Great stuff, and the people were into it at the end. And Heavy Machinery, even though they have a rotten fucking gimmick that they've apparently been forced to take, they came out better. So this had its blasé moments, but overall it was a good piece of business. Heyman may have had, Heyman, he's on Raw. Bruce may have had something to do with this, but I don't see anything else that Bruce Pritchard would have come up with, except if he was trying to come up with something that Vince McMahon would fucking like. I believe these positions are just figureheads for somebody to fucking blame. Because I don't see anything. And of course, having said that, Bruce will come up with anything that he thinks Vince will like, but it wasn't like any of this was revelatory. And I don't see anything on Raw except stuff Heyman's in and the really important shit that looks like anything Paul Heyman would have anything to do with on purpose. So I think these people are getting entirely too much credit or blame, whichever direction that goes in.
2 things. One, when it comes to the 3 shows you've watched now of WWE's, NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, how would you rank them? In what order?
NXT number 1, followed by nothing in second place, because no other show deserves second place. It's scripted, phony sports entertainment blah where nothing fucking happens that you give a shit about until accidentally a few guys are allowed to have a good match. But overall, because of the presentation, you can't believe any of that. You could at least buy a few things on NXT, and the guys are working hard, and the matches are not treated as an afterthought. There's still the problems with the, scripting of interviews and things, but You know, at least SmackDown's an hour shorter. So nothing happens, but it doesn't take as long.
And then my second thing here is we have some coronavirus updates. The country of France will close all schools indefinitely from kindergarten to universities as of Monday. On that topic,
well, they've all been pussies anyway. They always have.
On that topic, the state of Ohio has closed all schools starting this coming Monday for a minimum of 3 weeks. So it goes into the spring break. That adds a week to it.
So the kids are going to grow up thanking coronavirus.
For at least 3 weeks. And that's a minimum, so it could go even longer. The Supreme Court has closed to the public as of 4:30 p.m. today indefinitely.
I didn't know the Supreme Court was open to the public.
It's open to the public, sure. Yeah, anybody can go there.
Well, I wish anybody could get on it. We could replace a few that we have right now.
And that is our update in the middle of the show. We've already talked about New York. Major League Baseball has made it official. Opening day has been pushed back 2 weeks. Spring training canceled. And we'll see what happens by the end of the show.
Well, and as a matter of fact, an update on the stock market. Earlier this afternoon, the Fed announced drastic actions to take to combat the coronavirus, and things picked up where they were only down about 5% instead of 9%, but now they're back down about 8 or 9%. Because people didn't believe in the Fed for more than a fucking hour. As a matter of fact, hold on here, let me look. Yeah, they believed in the Fed from about 12:45 to about 1:15, and then they said fuck it and sold everything again. So there you have that. So let's now go to All Elite Wrestling while we still have the money to keep the electricity on to produce this program. This show won, obviously, because there just wasn't nothing happening on SmackDown, and there was a few things that happened here. But this one is the same show every week where there's so much wide variety. It's like the stock market lately. It's either up 5% or it's down 5%. Stuff is either really good or just is fucking goofy. And no difference here. They start out with the Moxley Jericho package was a good little deal for their open, but then there's Tony Schiavone in the back with Adam Page and the Young Bucks. Page needs a tag team partner, but he says, fuck you, Matt. I would never team with you. I might team with your brothers. There's drama there. And then he says, my partner's going to be a mystery, and walks off. And then they go to the arena and JR does the open, and he's there with Tony and the fucking masked guy. What's his name?
Excalibur, but you're missing
Excalibur.
something, I think. Unless I heard it wrong. Did he call Adam Page a prick?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's a first for wrestling on TV.
Well, they're saying prick and shit all over the place now. I don't know, I guess you can do that, but you can't tell any chicken jokes. But anyway, the whole thing is where I was going with this was they come to JR do the open, and he's there with Tony and Excalibur, and Tony was just backstage. So quickly, JR had to say, well, you just heard those comments from earlier today. They didn't give a graphic or any identifier that wasn't live. So they had the announcer that was standing in the back, seated at the broadcast position 10 seconds later. Somebody's not paying attention. Anyway, the first match was Cody against Ortiz. Why the fuck does Cody need his wife, not even for the fucking dangerous grudge matches, but just for the run-of-the-mill matches? When he's got Arn Anderson in his corner, Brandy needs to come to ringside. And Brandy interferes even when AAA doesn't.
I said it last week. Brandy is going to get on that show one way or another.
Cody's a great worker. He's smooth. He's solid. He's in the right place. He's got the body language. There's nothing wrong with this match from his standpoint. Ortiz can do some shit, but he's also being presented as more goofy than dangerous. And when Rick Steiner was goofy in the Varsity Club, you still thought that he could stretch your ass, and he was a badass-looking fucker. But this is like if somebody drew a caricature of Pampiro Firpo and said, play it for laughs. So if they're going to present him as goofy, not dangerous, this match went too fucking long. Until they put more main event credibility in Ortiz, Cody should have won quicker. There was nothing matter with the match. If Ortiz was a main event single, it'd been a great match. Cody makes a comeback. Ortiz stops him. Brandy foils Santana. Ortiz superplexes Cody off the top rope for a 2 count. And then Cody hits a dive on Santana, suplexes Ortiz on the ramp. I forgot to mention Lance Archer and Jake come to ringside through the crowd. So that was a big reveal. Oh, here they are walking through the audience. That's his new guy. I didn't think Lance Archer particularly made a high-impact debut, but nevertheless.
You know what, though? I got to say, it's kind of been a trend. Like, even way back before the TV show, when they had Tully Blanchard in that YouTube video, where all of a sudden he comes out and he's Sean Spears' manager going into the Cody match. It's like that first appearance, like, oh, wow, Tully. And he talks a little bit, and then they really don't use him well ever again. Arn Anderson has barely said anything on AEW TV. He's just there as arm candy like Brandy. And then Jake, who is a notorious piss drinker, comes out last week and cuts a really good promo. And this week he just walks through the crowd with his new charge, which we'll see what happens. I thought it was a bit underwhelming, but you know, like they're using these guys and giving them chances to be on TV again. And a lot of people are excited about that, but then they don't do anything with them. But we'll see what happens with Jake.
Besides that, it's not like, well, then they give him a chance to be on TV and then don't do anything with him. It's like it's charity. Then they bring in a goddamn new in-ring star that allegedly is going to be a main event guy like Lance Archer, and the impact he makes. And by the way, it's Lance Hoyt is who he was in TNA. I remember the name.
Oh, that's right.
But they bring him out and he walks through the crowd with Jake and sits in the fucking stands and doesn't really do anything. They get, stands up a time or two like he's going to climb over the fucking rail. But anyway, the match with Cody and Ortiz, they did a bunch of back and forth. Then he worked on Ortiz's leg and got the figure 4 tap out. Okay, fine, but too long, and couldn't 5 minutes of that been given to Jake to announce his new protege and bring him in and let's hear what he has to fucking say or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, then Santana slapjacks Cody's leg. And AAA comes in, but it's like there's a no contact rule. And I know AAA just took a bump last week, and I think he gave somebody a spine buster on a pay-per-view or somewhere, whatever the fuck.
AAA.
Or AAA.
He threw me off. I was like, what the hell is he
AA, Triple H, all these letters. But Arn, he just comes in and stands over Cody, and the heels start backing off like I expected a spine buster there or something. Here comes Omega and Matt Jackson to run in and make the real save and run the heels off. But then Jericho is on the screen with Hager and Guevara cutting a promo on Blood and Guts in 2 weeks. And I did like Pumpkinhead dipshits. It was another of Jericho's quotes. But then here's the thing. So Cody's already won, but then the heels got some heat back. But then Cody's coach almost got involved, but didn't. But then Omega and Matt, thank God the Road Warriors ran in. And at the sight of those intimidating fucking people, the heels all ran off. But then suddenly Jericho and the Inner Circle are ready on the screen to come up and talk about this. And the camera widens out. And this is the first thing that Jericho has been involved in that I despised. But when that camera widened out and there was Nick Jackson laying there under a roll-up door, stuck under a fucking door with fake blood coming out of his mouth in an obviously staged position, not trying to get out from under it. And guess what? Those doors don't fucking lock unless you put them all the way down. All he had to do was push. They go right up. They're on a fucking wheelie system. It was so fake and so phony and so bullshit. And then when the baby faces come in to rescue him and they're trying to lift it off, and they obviously lift the door up far enough for him to be able to move, he still won't fucking move. And then they're going like, oh God, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. That hurt bad. You had to tell me that half the people watching at home are going, oh, come on.
See, I didn't take it that way.
What?
I didn't. I took it like they kicked the shit out of this guy. They put him under the door. They probably slammed it down onto him a few times and then just left it there. Not that he couldn't pick it up, but they just kicked his ass. He doesn't have the power to pick it up. I wasn't thinking that he was locked into position. I mean, he had the blood coming out of his mouth. I was thinking they fucked him up.
It doesn't take any power. You can lift one of those arms or one of those doors with one arm, with one hand. You can take it up. But besides that, he wasn't moving and selling. He was just laying there like he was stuck under it.
Yeah, last week you wanted Moxley to stay down. Nick Jackson stayed down.
We never saw him get hit once. Last week we saw Moxley get hit 175 times with everything that wasn't nailed down. He wouldn't stay down. This time, first time we see Nick Jackson, he's already down and laying there and won't get back up. It was phony looking. I would not have cleared that to air on OVW television. We would have shot it again. So then off goes Nick in an ambulance.
To a medical facility.
To a medical facility. And Cody and Matt follow him. So now they're out of the building, right?
I have to say, we kind of said this, or I said this, during the review of the match from the last pay-per-view event. But it became more apparent on this show. Matt Jackson is like Road Warrior Animal and fucking Ted Arcidi.
Oh my
God.
God.
These guys in one. He just has unlimited power, strength. He can do a run-in and save anybody.
Now, I'll get to that. So next is Chris Statlander from Andromeda and Hikaru Shida against Bea Priestley and Nyla Rose. So immediately it's time to fast forward. They went through the break. If I wrote down, if I'd had more time, I would have watched this for Priestley because she looks kind of interesting. Nyla Rose, they've already buried, and they didn't change that here. Nyla Rose goes for that knee drop guillotine thing off the top rope and misses it. The little Japanese schoolgirl body slams her, actually more like a Michinoku driver.
They're not all schoolgirls.
Whatever the fuck. And then she Hurricane Rana'd Nyla Rose, and then finally Nyla Rose hits a powerbomb 1, 2, 3. Too late. She's one of the girls. She bumps around for all these fucking minute fucking females. I don't care.
And then Priestley turned on her.
I didn't even see that.
And then Priestley turned on her. So
I just fast forwarded to the next thing that I saw.
So I think they're setting up Nyla Rose versus Bea Priestley.
Well, isn't that special? What did you think about Chris Daniels doing the Dork Order parody video?
Oh, I hated it. I hated it for the same reasons I've hated all those Dark Order videos, that I think they're ridiculous, and I'm not a fan of the charismatic Christopher Daniels. I can't get into him like that. I thought,
all right,
I can't justify that because I hate everything that it's spoofing. Not for me. The SCU Dark Order feud is not for me.
I love Chris Daniels. This is cheesy and silly. I don't fucking get it. I don't get why anybody ever thought the Dork Order would be a good idea, why it's gotten this far. Now you've got good talent doing it. Like you said, entertaining Chris Daniels. Can't stand entertaining Chris Daniels. I like wrestler Chris Daniels. It's just stupid, but he challenged Stu Grayson and Pizzeria Uno to singles matches. So I can't wait to see that. And then MJF is always my highlight of the show, and this was no exception. But this match, it was actually entertaining until it got offensive. They waited till the end before it was really stupid. I don't know why that MJF is now teaming with middle card heels, the Butcher, Baker, and Candlestick Maker. Nevertheless, I know he paid him some money, but why are you involving him with middle card talent? Did you like Luchasaurus kicking Marco Stunt in the face when he tried to get in the ring?
I was wondering if you saw that, yeah.
Right square in the face as he was trying to step over the top rope. Go back and look, everybody. But MJF stole a show here. The I Pinned Cody t-shirt. He gets all the attention. He stops everything down. He milks it. He's got the facials. He had his stooges do the work here. And they were smart because they got Luchasaurus in the corner and not only made him sell, even though he wasn't very good at it, but also fucking kept him immobilized and didn't do any flips or any action to purposely get heat from this fucking crowd that wants to see the video game matches, right? So it was great at start because they did nothing except get heat on Luchasaurus. They kept him in the corner and worked on his leg. Although at one point, did you see this? He's selling in the corner, Luchasaurus, and he swings his hand back and smacks MJF in the face. And MJF sells it. This guy's got to be a complete putz in real life. I've never met him. Anyway, they go through the break, and by the time they come back, they've actually got some heat going in the building for working. They denied him all the action after all the other stupid stuff everybody's done all night. They denied him the action. They pinned the big man down. They kept him selling. They did a great little spot with Ref Aubrey. Luchasaurus is rottenly awkward selling, but I'm sure he hadn't had a lot of experience at it. But then finally, they did a great spot where Luchasaurus was milking the tag and finally got it to Jungle Boy. And Jungle Boy does a great comeback, and he's blowing the fucking roof off. And here comes fucking Marco Stunt in and hooked it up and stole Jungle Boy's spotlight. And of course, when the goddamn midget or the 5-year-old child or the fucking Animal Act does anything, even if it's fucking simple, they get a bigger pop. That's why the old rule in showbiz is don't work with kids and animals. Jungle Boy should have had the comeback. Jungle Boy should have had the spotlight. Jungle Boy is future money. Then this kid comes in and hoax it up and does bullshit and gets a bigger pop and takes the spotlight off of Jungle Boy. And Marco Stunt is never going to goddamn be serious money. He's never going to be in main events. Jungle Boy could be. But for momentary pops from this fucking mental crowd that likes video game matches and Saturday Night Live sketches, they sacrificed Jungle Boy's credibility again. So anyway, Luchasaurus ran across the ring and did a big dive over the top and then got back in and remembered to sell his leg like he couldn't hardly walk. Then they all just started doing shit to each other. MJF stayed out of the way mostly, but he actually at one point sold Marco Stunt right. The only one I've seen do it when Stunt, he's sitting in the corner, MJF is, and Stunt comes over and starts doing the stomp the mud hole in him. And MJF is selling him like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Rather than a serious physical threat. And he got some heat for doing that because he looked like a big pussy doing it. But everybody can't do that because it's not natural for everybody like it is for MJF. And it just, they need to get this fucking little goof out of the goddamn business. Anyway, finally, Wardlow takes Luchasaurus out, and MJF tapped Marco Stunt, and that was the only result possible because at least then MJF gets more heat by making the little fucking goof tap out. But it's just insulting to have professionals in there with that. And why do they call Allie the bunny? Why did she become a bunny after she was already Allie?
Because she was nice girl Allie, and now she's with the Butcher and the Blade, and she's...
Are you saying bunnies are not nice and friendly? I've known some friendly bunnies in my time.
It could be because bunnies like to fuck. I don't know.
Well, that would be at least be a positive. But
she could be the Butcher and the Blade's fuck bunny. I don't know.
With this locker room crew, I don't think...
Actually, in real life, I think she's married to the guy, the Blade.
Well... In the 80s, in the Crockett locker room, she might have been a bunny, but I don't think with these fucking guys, she's a bunny. Anyway, they did another strange Darby Allin video, which is fine because Darby Allin is strange, and the thing with Jericho, the package with him, that's cool. And what do you think of this Dr. Britt Baker segments now?
I'm entertained by them, although I do get horrified thinking she'll be back in the ring. I hate the women's division, and I don't think she's ready yet for in-ring action on a major league televised promotion. The stuff with her and Shivani, the first week I hated it. The second week it was awkward. The third week I loved it. And now I'm I don't know what to think anymore. I mean, now her thing is she comes out there, she gives Shivani a coffee, she insults whatever local crowd she's in front of, and then it kind of doesn't go anywhere. At least this week she was challenged by Big Swole, who, if you ever want to appreciate someone else on the mic, give a mic to Big Swole.
Well, Here's the thing with the first week, obviously it was rotten. Second week, she was getting better with it. I'm like you. I'm entertained by the material and in a strange way by the delivery, because she's obviously doing an insult comic routine, but she's gotten exponentially better at it in like a little over a month.
It's like Tammy's tips, but in front of a crowd. Yes,
but Tammy, you felt like that was really Tammy, because that actually kind of was really Tammy. Whereas this is, I don't believe she's a real life bitch, but she's gotten good at doing the shtick, the insult promo, but you don't believe it's really her. I don't know why that suddenly she went from being this professional dentist that they presented, this wonderful smiling young lady doing the press things, to suddenly just this raging PMS ridden cunt. but that's not really her, but the promos are entertaining. But yes, when Big Swole came out, what the fuck? And they had to dick around for a second, because obviously either Britt Baker didn't say the exact line that Big Swole was expecting to hear for her to come out, or whatever, but she was obviously late on her cue line. And then Britt Baker knocks Big Swole's boyfriend. Who is that now? Because that was never mentioned. So if you don't know who Big Swole is dating, you couldn't pop on the zinger.
Well, I think it's actually her husband. I believe it's Cedric Alexander.
Well, I know Cedric. Okay, that does everybody know that?
I didn't. I had to
does
do a search.
Everybody watching TNT television know that? Does everybody watching TNT television know that Britt Baker's boyfriend is Adam Cole? Because they're doing these jokes based on that knowledge, and I don't believe that anybody with a real fucking life has time to know those things. But anyway, Britt Baker threw coffee on her and ran.
Are we
and there you go.
Are we supposed to think that Shivani has a crush on Britt Baker?
I hope not.
Because Big Swole, who's the baby face here, she goes, Tony Schiavone doesn't even like you. And then the camera goes to Schiavone, and you're kind of thinking, he's disagreeing with Big Swole. He does like Britt for some weird reason.
Well, I don't know. As Arn Anderson said one time, Schiavone's got enough cum in him to shampoo a buffalo, so
what?
You better watch out. We're at the airport. We're at the airport at the Butler Aviation Facility, getting on Crockett's plane one time to fly somewhere. And there's Arn there, and I'm there midnight, whoever the fuck else is on the plane. And Shivani's going to be on the plane. It's a TV taping. So he pulls up to the front of Butler Aviation, but he's got his wife Lois is driving, and they got a station wagon. I ain't shitting you. This is before SUVs, when you had to have a station wagon when you got 5 kids, which is what he's got. And all the kids are in the car. And it's silent, and then the door opens, and you hear the yelling and the screaming and the cheering and the pandemonium from children. And then he waves goodbye, and he closes the door and shuts the sound off again, and he starts bringing his bringing his bag up the front steps with that look like, thank God I got out of that environment, for just a little while, right? And I've never had children. I've had puppies, and I enjoy them greatly, but I can't imagine 5 kids. And Arn looked at the fucking carload of kids pulling off and looked at fucking Shivani and said, Shivani, you must have enough cum in you to shampoo a buffalo.
All right. It was definitely hearing the story now. I take it a little differently than I did the first time you said it 2 minutes ago.
Anyway.
I was thinking you're talking like Rod Stewart or something.
No. Rod Stewart?
You ever hear that old urban legend?
I have not heard that urban legend.
The old urban legend was that Rod Stewart had to go to the doctor because he had swallowed so much cum they had to pump it out of him.
What?
That was an old urban legend years ago.
Rod Stewart?
Rod Stewart.
He was getting more pussy than Stan Lane. Are you kidding?
That was the old urban legend.
I think a lot of jealous people came up with that. Do you think he's sexy, Brian?
No.
If you do, you wear it well. Anyway.
Very well played.
All right, here we go. Jelly Nutella and Private Party against the team of the Death Triangle, Pac and the Lucha Brothers. Why is Death Triangle a group? Why did they, what the fuck? They have an English guy, or is he from Ireland or England? One or the other. He's from across the pond. He's teaming up with a couple of masked Mexican guys that there's no knowledge they have ever met before last week. And suddenly they're a group called the Death Triangle because somebody has a fetish for everybody being in a fucking faction. Pac is a main event talent buried in a sea of interchangeable gymnasts in this match. And I've said I like Mark Quinn. Boy, if you could ever send him to a program like NXT or OVW and keep him for a year and a half or 2 years, you would have a high-level superstar. Right now, what you got's a fucking gymnast. This was a bunch of green guys with bad basics and too much athleticism for their own good, doing a choreographed tumbling routine with no tags, no discernible rules to a match, no story, no heat, no comeback, no baby faces, no heels for that matter. Constant movement, nonsensical running and diving and back and forth to the point where I couldn't even keep straight who was on which team at most points. With, like I said, no rules being enforced whatsoever and no build to anything, just move. Mark Quinn hit an incredible shooting star press again, which was not the finish. At one point, he did a dive over the top rope and missed the guy, and the guy fell anyway. There was no rhyme or reason to any of this. And out of all of these, at least you can say everybody was an athlete, except here was Jelly Nutella looking like the fan that won a contest to be in the match. Or maybe this was his make-a-wish. Look at that poor little afflicted child. At least he got to go out there and play with all those wrestlers.
How about those clotheslines?
Oh, fuck. And then the finish is the Lucha Brothers do that package pile driver foot stomp thing where one comes off the top and stomps the ass of the guy being package pile driven. Like that's not devastating enough. And then the one that does the double foot stomp, always, every time they hit that move, he immediately runs and hits the ropes and runs across the ring and dives out the other side and dives onto the opponents. The first time I saw them do that was live in MLW, and the camera completely missed the dive because it was, and also the dive caused everybody in the building to miss the finish because the referee was counting 1, 2, 3 at the same time the guy was diving out. So everybody was watching that, but the camera was on the finish, and it just steps on the fucking finish every time. But now I've come to realize, why the fuck is there somebody in that exact spot every time that he can dive on? Don't you think if they were watching tapes, they would have scouted that by now and know that if he hit that move, he was going to dive on them if they were standing in that same place every time?
I thought the same thing, actually, because I've thought it was such a spectacular thing the first couple of times I saw it, and then I realized, I think I've seen this every time I've seen these guys.
Every time. That's the thing. A lot of this stuff is spectacular. Some of these things could be used for finishes. Some of these things could be used for hospitalization angles. Some of these things could be used for huge teases in fucking money-drawing angles. But since they do them in every match, on every show, I'm not just talking about these guys. I'm talking about all these flippy-floppy fucking gymnasts that they employ. The only smart guys that get it and have different matches with different guys for different positions are Jericho, Cody, Dustin, and MJF. And the rest of them do everything they know to everybody they wrestle, regardless of whether they should or not, regardless of whether it means anything or not. But anyway, they did that move in the dive, and then Pac did a splash onto Jelly. At least they beat the right guy. But so if that team has to do their biggest double team maneuver, and then the other guy has to hit a splash off the top just to beat Jelly Nutella, can any of them ever be taken seriously against any of these main event guys like Moxley and Jericho and etc.? No. And then the heels got the triple lucha submission hold, which is so hokey looking, just to make sure we know that none of this is serious. We're going to put a hold on 3 guys at the same time and let them make some pull faces. And then best friends make the save, so 3 heels run from these 1.5 guys, because there's Chuck Taylor there to make a half. So 1.5 guys run off 3 heels because Pockets didn't even ever get in the ring, and he made it all a joke anyway because he didn't fucking give a shit. So that was one of the worst matches I've ever seen and one of the worst things they've ever done on television. Did I miss any silver lining in that?
No, not really. And I must admit, by this point in the show, I was a little taken out of the show because during the MJF match, I actually paused the DVR on that channel and went and watched the president's address. And then within like 5 minutes, the NBA canceled their season. Tom Hanks got coronavirus. And I'm like, oh my God, the fucking world is ending. And then I watched the rest of the show in a blur. Nutella's just not good in the ring. I don't care what anyone says. His clotheslines look ridiculous. He has no muscle tone whatsoever.
Somebody even tweeted, well, boy, Jelly's really looking good. He's gotten in better shape. So he lost 15 pounds of fucking preserves out of his ass, but he didn't gain one muscle, and he looks, fuck.
And now he can go back to the freak shows on the YouTube show. Boy, have you heard about their YouTube show? Everyone that we're not seeing on this show is on that YouTube show.
Well, that's why that's why I'm not seeing them, because if they'll keep them off TV, they can do whatever they want on YouTube. I don't give a shit.
Apparently there's like a YouTube show feud with Jimmy Havoc and Dr. Luther with Mel from the Nightmare Collective. Like, they're still together on that show.
I know they've exiled Sonny Kiss there.
Sonny Kiss is on there twerking away.
And that's where Stunt wrestles most of the time.
Everyone who's like, you know what? They're not up to snuff to be on this main show where we still get some bullshit. They get stuck on that show.
Anyway, Dustin Rhodes did a promo, and I couldn't fucking believe my ears. He sounded like a wrestler. He said he was going to be the goddamn partner for Paige, whether Paige liked it or not, because of what they had done to his family, and that was the way it was going to be. He sounded like a fucking wrestler, and he got it done in a minute or less. It was so refreshing to hear that.
Great promo. He was really good. You believe Dustin when he talks, even though he has half his face painted. You still believe him.
Yeah.
My only issue is, if Paige was going to have this match with a mystery partner, did he not have a mystery partner until this moment?
You're jumping ahead, but I will go ahead and say this. The only thing is, when Paige comes down, he's by himself, and then Dustin comes down and tells him, I'm going to be your partner. Who the fuck did he bring? Who was he going to have? And that's why I think the announcers had to call an audible, because I think JR or Tony One said something like he was going to try to go it alone, like did last week. Shit. The fucking guy that went it alone, did it alone, Darby Allin.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Say. Yeah. Because there was nobody there, so of course he was going to take Dustin. He didn't bring anybody, but he had earlier said my partner's a mystery. Quality control, folks. But before that match, Sean Spears is searching for a partner, and they're showing fan videos that are applying to be his partner. At least I hope they were all fans. What the what? How can that? This guy is so desperate as a professional athlete that he has to scour the fucking fan universe for partners? What?
I understand that's how Patterson and Stevens got together.
Well, I'll guarantee you Patterson searched high and low through every dive bar in fucking San Francisco until he found Ray Stevens. Anyway, then they had a little sit down with Jim Ross and Moxley about the Inner Circle, which was good, but nothing to write home about, but it built Moxley's rivals, and it was serious, and that was fine. But then this match, and like I said, the first thing I wrote, if Paige didn't agree to take Dustin, who was he going to have? Sammy Guevara is turning into a good heel, and this automatically was a whole different tone of things. You knew who the fucking baby faces were. You knew who the heels were. They did a spot that took a minute and a half with a fucking fan's beer, and it worked. Jericho's classic. Dustin was the smoothest guy in the match at his age. But automatically, this made sense. And everything came right along, and the people were into it because they couldn't help not being, because it made sense. JR even figured out how to pitch to a picture-in-picture. He said, we'll be right back, right after the picture-in-picture or whatever the fuck he said. You knew they were going to a break, but he also identified the picture-in-picture with a wink in his fucking voice. But this was a good tag match. You could follow this. And then Paige finally got a tag after Dustin sold, and he was on fire. And the people were with him. And they did some good twists and turns. And then imagine this, even though he did the backflip off the top again to the floor, Paige hits Sammy Guevara with a buckshot lariat and pins him 1, 2, 3. The first time that move has ever worked, but thank goodness it finally does. But
And Dustin, you forgot to say, came out with Brandy and QT Marshall.
Oh, yeah, but at least they went back.
And then they went back, yeah.
Yeah, but they were seen. But this was a really good tag team match, and it got the point across. And like I said, we know who the babyface were and who the heels were, and the shit made sense. And Adam Page is running away with this fucking thing. And Sammy Guevara has turned into a great heel. And that slappable face, I love it, right? Then the heels start getting heat afterwards. And the only thing, they're doing this a lot, aren't they? The heat after. It seems like almost every match. And that's that too many run-ins and too much heat afterwards. And it not only spoils the impact of what you do, but the people start looking for it, obviously. But anyway, it worked in this one, but they have to do it every time. So they get the heat afterwards. And here comes Olivier, Twinkle Toes Olivier, and throws shitty looking punches because he apparently doesn't know how to fucking make a comeback.
You know, I got to say, you've said this in the past that he doesn't know how to throw punches, and I've never even really noticed his punches before. And right away when he got in there and started throwing him, like, oh my God, Jim was 100% right. He doesn't know how to throw a punch.
Well, now, when you say that, people will say, well, Brian Last is just a sycophant, and he just says whatever. But in this case, no, it's like saying, well, we looked at the sun and it was bright. What else are you going to say?
Plus, I know how to throw a punch.
I've seen you, and you do, and everybody knows I do. One thing I can lay claim to is one of the better working punches in the business. But he throws the shitty punches, and then they shut him down. And then go back and watch this now, everybody. Because they shut Olivier down, and then here comes Cody, and he hits the ring, and he's trying to make a big comeback. But the heels not only don't feed him well, but guess who is right in the way? When they shut Omega down, he's so stupid, he laid in the middle of the ring and would not get out of the fucking way. He doesn't have to get up and walk off unharmed, but you roll selling to a rope to get out of the way so that the other babyface has room to make his comeback and the heels have room to sell him or to feed him. But as it was, Cody had to go to the corners and go after the fucking heels. And then who was it stopped Cody? Was it, oh, goddamn, it may have been fucking, it was Hager with a big belly-to-belly slam or whatever. He almost planted him directly on Olivier because Olivier still wasn't smart enough to get out of the fucking way when somebody was almost ready to land on him. So he's in the ring just doing nothing and still botching shit up.
Maybe he just wanted to make Cody look bad.
Well, and that actually, there's two schools of thought because I said, anybody that's ever fucking been anywhere or smoked anybody knows you're a fucking idiot. That's what you learn in wrestling school is to get the fuck out of the way in a situation like that. So he has to be doing it on purpose to shut down Cody's comeback. But then I realized and remembered by his own admission of his own fucking liver lips, he'd never been to wrestling school. So somebody could have fucking broke their ankle on him or he could have fucking got landed on, which would have been fine with me. But he was in the fucking way like he normally is. So then they get some more heat. And then they take Paige to the fucking stage and they tease the power bomb. And here's where Road Warrior Animal comes out. Why don't they just go ahead and play fucking Iron Man by Black Sabbath? Because the baddest ass in all of wrestling is fixing to come out and fucking beat everybody up and spear two guys at the same time. And fucking all 5'8" and 192 pounds of him. Matt Pieface Jackson comes out and goddamn lays waste to everybody, and the heels are on more floors than Johnson's wax. And then he flips Paige off to show that he's a badass, and then turns around right into Jericho's fucking chair. That was my favorite. That was the best 15 seconds of the night when Jericho chaired fucking Matt and then Paige.
Well, it was shot good, too, because you didn't see Jericho coming, and all of a sudden, it's just boom.
All of a sudden, bam, it blew up. And I saw somebody on the internet, well, they shouldn't do that, chair shots to the head, and how dare they in this environment. I'm not going to, because for once, everybody involved in that did what they were supposed to do right, even Matt Jackson. So I'm not going to knock him. It was mostly Jericho. I'm not going to fucking reveal their innermost secrets, but let's just say this. The guys swinging knew how to swing it. The guys that took it absolutely perfectly. And that was safer than any of the stupid bullshit that any of these guys do in their matches every fucking day. And there was less chance for injury and less fucking chance for anybody to be upset in in those chair shots than what they do all the time for almost no reason. So they worked the magic there, and nobody was going to get goddamn brain disease or concussions from those chair shots, but they were perfect, and they were impressive, and they were swung right, and they were taken right. And that's what you're supposed to do in the wrestling business. They were screaming in 2012 when the Ring of Honor guys would do chair shots. We can't allow that anymore. Chair shots to the head. I said, no, let me just actually teach these guys how to fucking do it right instead of just bashing each other over the head with a fucking chair. And then let me tell them that they will be fined unless they do it right. And then we started doing chair shots just to fucking drive the goddamn smart marks on the internet into an uproar about how we were so horrible for doing chair shots when none of those chair shots would hurt anybody. But they didn't know the difference, which is why that the fans were stupid for being all fucking their panties in a bunch about chair shots, and why the guys were stupid. I'm talking about the wrestlers were stupid for actually hitting each other with real fucking live chair shots. Everybody went fucking nuts. You do something like this, it's done right, it's fine, and it gets over. I would rather Chris Jericho have hit me with either one of those chair shots than take any move that any of these guys do in their matches.
I did like the Matt Jackson middle finger to Adam Page because it was a callback to Adam Page doing that right in Matt Jackson's face. So that was at least good.
Oh, yeah. Boy, when we've got to the point where these wrestlers are flipping each other off, goddamn, I need to pay to see this on pay-per-view.
Listen, on this one show, we heard shit, prick, and then the entire inner circle gave the camera the middle finger to the show.
And then what did Jericho say? What Jericho said, pumpkin-headed pumpkin. I've written it down somewhere. Where was it?
What was it?
Pumpkin-head dipshits. But that, I mean, you know, hey, imagine if I could have said shit 30 years ago on TV, I'd have done it too. But anyway, there's so much good with the people that know how to do good. And then there's so much bad either with the people that don't know what they're doing, or somebody is telling a few of these people that know what they're doing to do stupid shit. So it's just all over the page with this show. And everybody says, well, Cornette's wanted to hate AEW since day one. I didn't want to, but I was figured I would. And I have a lot, but I've liked a lot too. Nobody pays any attention to that. But it's not like that I was begging them, make me hate this show. They're the ones that showed me the battle royal with the legless man and the transvestite and the fucking guy painted fucking green and blue or whatever the fuck it was. And the goddamn 100-pound fucking small child. And the goddamn rotten women's division and the outlaw guys and people that they've signed from fucking obscure independent promotions in Japan, and the ridiculous fucking goofy tag team gimmicks. There's good in here, but they hide it, and they may have reduced it over the last several weeks. Why did they need to do that at all? It's not like anybody wasn't saying this is fucking stupid and you shouldn't do this. So now they're hiding them all on YouTube, okay, but they brought them out to begin with, and that made a lot of people that would have given a new wrestling promotion that was promised a sports-based presentation that would have led to those people trying the thing and maybe sticking with it. But they tried it and they saw JoJo the dog-faced boy and the Invisible Man or whatever the fuck and Jelly Nutella and all the other bullshit. And they didn't come back. Hence, 1 point whatever million or they had at the start, and they haven't got those back since. A lot of people are like me. They wanted to see a wrestling promotion. They just didn't want to see a wrestling promotion with stupid, goofy shit because they were already seeing that from Raw and SmackDown. So they're getting better, but there was no reason to be bad to begin with. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. And now it's fine that they're hiding some of their poor decisions on YouTube, but eventually they have to settle this show down and decide what they're going to present. Are they going to be serious and get other people besides who they already got to watch it? Or are they going to do video game car crashes and goofy shit that only the people that already like that kind of thing are going to be the kind of people that like that kind of thing? There's Tony Khan again.
Well, I said early on with AEW, my big concern, well, one of them, was going to be too many cooks. Do you think that, the rumor is that Tony Khan, since the beginning of the year, has taken more of the reins from his executive vice presidents. They still have a lot of say, but it's all being funneled through him. And even if you're the filter for all that, I'm sure a lot of stupid shit is still going to get through. Do you think that's part of the issue, is that you have 4 different executive vice presidents who all have creative input, not to count Jericho, who obviously has a lot of creative input.
Yeah.
And then you have the guy who's actually in charge, who clearly has creative input. It's too many cooks.
Well, it was fucking goofy to make them all real vice presidents anyway. Make them the head of the Wrestlers Association, like the Player Association, and say, we're going to take the wrestlers' trials and tribulations and problems into account, and we're going to be a wrestler-friendly organization. Don't really make them fucking vice presidents, you idiot.
Well, they got health insurance and the other wrestlers did.
Yes, etc. Don't do that. Because wrestlers will come and go, especially these that are fads. What are you going to do in 4 or 5 years when these fucking guys, nobody cares to see them and they're still vice presidents? They can contribute nothing because they never had any experience booking. They obviously have not been trained well, many of them. Make Cody a vice president because he actually knows what the fuck he's doing. It could have ended there. But yes, you've not only got too many cooks, but also have we reached the point where it's a good thing where the owner, the guy who has never worked in professional wrestling before ever in any capacity and has been a lifelong newsletter reader and had a fantasy federation when he was a teenager, is now the guy they've gone to straighten out the booking?
Well, let me put it this way. Who else do they have internally that could be the filter for all these guys?
I think they should have fucking got Cody to be the booker if he wanted to be and a top fucking star and give Jericho some input, but somebody else should be at least not the only assistant, but maybe even the booker that's not in the fucking ring.
Well, maybe we'll end up there.
That has experience at this.
Maybe we'll end up there. Cody didn't have any booking experience really before this. He had the same amount as the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And you can almost look at this like a trial period.
Well,
all 4 of those guys are showing right now what they would do creatively with a wrestling company. Which segments are doing the best ratings-wise?
My first year in the business, I had the same amount of experience as Britt Baker does. Who was doing the better promos? Sometimes you just have a feel for this. If they'd have given it to Cody, that'd have been fine, or somebody with some experience and a level head about what's going to be best for the business long term, rather than how are we going to get us and our fucking school friends over and remake wrestling in the image of the only thing that we're capable of doing, which is what the Young Bucks and Kenny Olivier are trying to fucking do. They're trying to remake wrestling to the only thing that they're capable of doing, which is just a bunch of flips and spots for the video game audience, and they can't speak, and they can't get anybody to believe in them, and they allegedly can put matches together that make sense, but somehow only when other people that are good at doing that are in the match with them. So, but this would have been a great 45-minute program. Problem was, it was 2 hours. They still need to get some more workers to complement the top workers they have in their money drawing position, because a lot of times when they put these guys in the ring, they don't have anybody that can fucking go with them for 15 minutes without making the guy who's winning look bad. I say again, the dynasty in MLW with MJF and Holiday and Hammerstone, Jacob Fatu was signed by MLW, who is not owned by a billionaire, but a billionaire owns a company that signed Marco fucking Cunt. There's talent out there. They overlooked it because it wasn't in their fucking clique. And Tony Khan was a billionaire that was blinded by the hysteria surrounding the Young Bucks and Kenny Olivier, much like the hysteria surrounding coronavirus. It's going to have a short shelf life. And then things are going to get back to normal. So now he's in a position with these guys where he's fucking put so much time in it. What are you going to do now? You're stuck with them. And everybody that actually used to like wrestling when it was populated by grown men that were really fighting and yelling at each other and meant it, is going to go, what the fuck is with Twinkle Toes and his 2 little grade school kids there? And none of them can speak in a commanding enough fashion. The Bucks sound just weaselly. And Olivier sounds like, as I said, a fucking dance instructor crossed with Mr. Rogers. Is fucking, there is no, this is the worst thing from, the furthest thing from wrestling that would appeal to a testosterone-filled male who wants to see a fucking fight. This is almost like fucking, wrestling for fucking people who are against violence. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I thought of it this week. Next week, do we have to watch SmackDown again?
That's your call. I mean, we've only done 1 week of that. We torture ourselves for 3 weeks with Raw.
We'll give SmackDown another week because I've got it recording while I go to Ohio and visit everybody this weekend.
Well, on that topic,
masks and gloves.
On that topic, since we started the AEW review, the NCAA has canceled the men's and women's basketball tournaments and March Madness and the College World Series.
Wait a minute, entirely?
Entirely.
Instead of just playing them in front of empty buildings.
There will be no empty arena basketball games. Canceled.
Okay, the state of Kentucky is going to go into an official state of mourning, because March Madness is the biggest thing that happens here besides the Derby. They'll run the goddamn Derby, I bet you. They'll vaccinate the fucking horses at least.
Well, when is that? June? May?
Are you out of your mind? The first Saturday in May. When has it always been?
I don't know. The only thing I know about the Kentucky Derby is the Hunter S. Thompson. The Kentucky Derby is, what was it? Decadent and depraved? That article? You ever read that?
I did, but also the Derby is the first Saturday in May. And you would know that if you were a member of polite Southern society.
Excuse me. I care about the Preakness.
Oh, fuck. Nobody watches the Preakness.
The Belmont Stakes I care about.
Well, that's a different story about the Belmont. But so no NCAA tournament.
No NCAA tournament. Madison Square Garden will likely be closed for months. I'm just reading different things now that are coming on the newswire here. El Salvador, mandatory quarantine.
Well, I'm not really worried about them. They probably should fucking stay home anyway.
There's no reason for you to say
Wait a minute here. Hold on. The mayor of Newark has issued the following, advising that all non-essential public gatherings be canceled for 30 days. Newark,
wow,
non-essential group event is defined as a gathering of 50 people or more for social, cultural, or entertainment events where people are not separated by physical space of at least 4 feet.
Well, there it is. They didn't even do that when the city burned down.
Well, they've sold 10 or 11,000 tickets. You think they got room in that building to put 4 feet in between every single one of them? That's tough.
What do you do about refund? I mean, if you're going to postpone
you have to give refunds. Well, if you postpone it, you don't have to give refunds unless they ask for them. If you cancel it, you automatically have to give refunds.
Not that you care about all these different promotions. So let's take the people you despise out of the equation. This is going to decimate indie wrestling, isn't it?
It's going to, well, it depends on how long it lasts. And this is not going to last for years. I can't see that a virus that goes around has ever lasted for years in the modern time since we actually had medicine and doctors, right? So, like I said earlier, some independent promotions can't afford to lose like a WrestleMania weekend show of that magnitude that they've got that much in just that. But others might be able to last, a few months, but with just not running shows. But eventually, sooner or later, yes, it's going to fuck everybody up if it doesn't rectify itself. Wait a minute. Hold on now. Hillsborough County, Florida. Hillsborough County official Leslie Les Miller Jr. I already don't trust him. If his nickname or a name of Leslie is Les, it should be like, Buttface or something. Leslie Buttface Miller. See, it's no.
Well, you can call me Leslie.
Pizzazz to that. Yeah.
You can call me Les.
Anyway, stated WWE held their own press conference at 1:30 and he was not aware of what WWE's announcement and messaging was. But update, PW Insider, who I'm reading this from, fine site, has all the news. You don't need to go anywhere else. Some people have weird opinions, other places. PWInsider.com reached out to WWE and was told by a spokesperson that Miller spoke in error and there was no WWE press conference.
I have to admit, I haven't seen anything about a WWE press conference.
The commission is reconvening next week if WWE does not agree to postpone WrestleMania or whatever the fuck. They're going to convene next week. However, next week, Madison Square Garden apparently will be off, according to what you said Andrew Cuomo said.
Oh, there's going to be nothing. From what I just read, there's going to be nothing in Madison Square Garden for months. Months even. All right. Well, we've already been going for months. If we don't end this program, we'll never be able to start a new one next week. So anyway, folks, we will be here next week because we don't have to leave our homes to do this. I will be in Ohio unless the governor of Ohio runs me off. I'll be visiting with Bobby Fulton regardless. So y'all are more than welcome to come and hang out. And we'll see how things go. Next week, SmackDown, more All Elite Wrestling, more coronavirus cancellations. Evan Husney and Jason Eisner from Dark Side of the Ring on the second season, and so much more next week on the program. Brian, any closing thoughts? We're doomed.
We're doomed. Doom, despair, and agony, oh me. Deep, dark depression, excessive misery. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Doom, despair, and agony, oh me. See you next week, you miserable cocksuckers.